Honorable Chair and members present, good morning. My name is Bonaventure Makio, Director, Accounting Services.
I'm Wilfred Kazungu, Head of Department, Health.
What do you mean by head of department? Which position is that?
Head Planning, M&D and Research for the Department of Health.
Are you a director? Are you a chief officer? I don't know.
I am a head of the department. HOD.
Okay, let's move faster.
Honorable Chair, my name is Diana Kerubo, Liaison Office.
Honorable Chair and members, my name is Dennis Kioko, Governors Communication Unit.
I believe everyone has gone on record. Okay.
Yes, Chair.
So
We have some few officers outside. Whenever they are needed, they'll come in and register their presence.
Okay. I think, Sergeant at Arms, you might try and see if they can be accommodated. But if it's not going to be possible due to constraints of space, then we might usher them in on need basis. Let's make some progress and go to the next order, which is administration of oath and tabling of documents. The Clerk of the Senate will facilitate that.
I, Gideon Mungaro, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Mr. Chairman, sir, I hereby table the following documents before the committee: management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General on County Executive of the financial year 2024-2025, management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General on the receiver of revenue statements for the County Executive of the Kilifi, for the financial year 2025. Chair, I also want to present the management responses and accompanying annexures on the report of the Auditor General of the County Revenue Fund for the County Executive of Kilifi for the financial year 2024-2025. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Auditor General, are you in a position to guide the conversation, having received the responses?
Thank you, Chair. The responses were received on 8th June 2026. Thank you.
And have you had an opportunity to go through? Are you in a position to guide the committee?
Yes, we're in a position to guide the committee. Thank you, Chair.
Clerk of the Senate?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm that we received the documents on 8th of June as prescribed in our letter inviting the County Executive of Kilifi to appear for the meeting today. Thank you.
Fine. A few preliminary issues. When the Senate made a resolution on the report of the Auditor General for Kilifi County, the Executive, ROR, and CRF, the Senate adopted the report of the Auditor General as is, which meant that anything that the auditor reported as inaccurate, irregular, unauthorized, unlawful, the Senate agreed with the Auditor General. The Senate also directed that the Governor appears before this committee to provide an update on measures taken to resolve the outstanding issues. And that's the reason for the meeting today. The Senate further resolved that a fine of 500,000 shillings be imposed upon the Governor of Kilifi for failure to honor the summons of the Senate. I think the summons were for 30th of March, 2026. Before we proceed, I need to confirm, Clerk, whether the 500,000 fine has been paid.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm that the county government of Kilifi has paid the 500,000. The 500,000 was paid on 9th of June. Thank you.
Okay, if that has been settled, then we can proceed. Senator Chirarke, you can go on record.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, everybody. And it's finally good to see Kilifi County. And for record, the current speaker used to appear regularly. I don't know what is happening with the current governor, but that is a story for another day. Cherargei Kiprotich is my name, the Senator of the Republic of Kenya, representing the great people of Nandi. Let's look at the Speaker's county, if it matches his work on the floor.
Fine, you are welcome, Senator. So let's go to the reports of the Auditor General. We will start with the report on the county executive, and time allowing, we will go to the receiver of revenue. The Senate intends to sit in the county of Kilifi in the month of September. So we'll be holding Senate Mashinani in Kilifi. There are a few issues in this report which we shall mark for consideration when we are in Kilifi, particularly things to do with projects, things that require physical verification. So we will not deal with 100% of the issues here. We'll pick a few issues for our consideration, and then the ones that are remaining, project verification is best done on site. So that is how we are going to proceed. Hopefully by 2 o'clock, we should be done with the key issues that must be considered here in Nairobi, and then the remainder of the issues we'll deal with when the Senate comes to Kilifi. Auditor General, what was your opinion on the county executive?
Thank you, Chair. The opinion was a qualified opinion.
So let's go to the basis for the qualified opinion. You have already given us a brief on some of the issues that need to be kept in view and those that need to be dealt with here. So the first one was unsupported expenditure on basic wages of temporary employees. Then the second qualifying issue was underuse of goods and services. And we had inaccuracies in expenditure on utilities, supplies, and services, where about 40 million was queried. And then we had omitted and unsupported expenditure. I'd like us to start with omitted and unsupported expenditure. Could you read your observation?
Thank you, Chair. The receiver of revenue statement of revenue and disbursements reflects a total disbursements and other charges of Kenya shillings 1,382,739,289. Amount of Kenya shillings 44,352,180 paid to a service provider at the rate of Kenya shillings 3,696,015 per month. However, the amount was deducted directly from the bank account and was not supported by payment vouchers or any authorization, and was not included in the expenditure on use of goods and services. In addition, the statement of financial position reflects cash and cash equivalent balance of Kenya shillings 372,648,989 as disclosed in Note 20 to the financial statements. The balance includes a deposit bank account balance of $479.
Customer any.
Erroneously revenues financial statement will be adjusted. Yeah, June 2026. A payment voucher dated the 26th day of January 2026 was prepared to acknowledge the expenditure. The payment of salaries was done through a court order issued on the 22nd day of September 2016 in Malindi High Court Civil Case Number 9 of 2016, Raindrops Limited versus the County Government of Kilifi, in which a monthly sum of Kenya shillings 3,969,0115 being salaries payable to over 218 employees of Raindrops Limited was drawn directly from an escrow account number 0198094684003 held at SBM Bank Kenya Limited, Malindi branch. Malindi High Court Civil Case Number 9 of 2016 and all other related matters were with consent dated the 16th day of September 2025 were marked as settled and closed before the Honorable late Justice Mugure Thande on the 6th day of October 2025. Attached in hours of the 2nd day of March 2026 at the pages 141 to 144 as appendix number 5 is a copy of the payment voucher dated 26th day of January 2026 and a copy of the court order issued on the 15th day of December 2016 Malindi High Court Civil Case Number 9 of 2016 Raindrops Limited versus the County Government of Kilifi. Chair, the sum of Kenya shillings 135,482,754 refers to the difference between the opening and the closing amounts, which does not reflect the correct number of payments made during the year under review. As portrayed in the audit query, the correct amount paid from the deposit account during the financial year under review, as per the cash book, is the sum of Kenya shillings 286,811,303.85. A list of payments made out of the deposit account during the year under review and copies of sample vouchers are attached in hours of the 2nd day of March 2026 at pages 145 to 214 as appendix number 6. Thank you, Chair.
Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. We reviewed the management's response, and in relation to the first, the 44 million, basically what they gave has not conclusively indicated how the case was actually resolved and the terms and conditions. So we are yet to receive those information so that we can actually evaluate the impact. And on number 2, which is the deposit, payment from the deposit, based on their response, we reviewed the response, and we also looked at note 20. If you look at note 20 to the financial statements, you'll see that the closing balance is 26,386,567, while the opening balance was 163,445,400, which gave a decrease of 137,058. $833. Equally, when you look at note 32, you'll find that there's an opening balance of payment response was considered to be unsatisfactory because it is not consistent with the information in the financial statement. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Governor, the audit query, there are two figures, 44 million and 135 million. With regards to the 44 million, paid to a service provider at the rate of 3.696 million per month, the auditor says the amount was deducted directly from the bank account, was not supported by payment vouchers or any authorization, was not included in the expenditure on the use of goods and services. How do you deal with that, first of all? Deducted directly from the bank account, but not supported by payment vouchers or any authorization. If you cannot demonstrate an authorization, then it means that this 44 million was irregularly paid. What is the basis? What's the authorization? And even if there was an authorization for a payment to be made, isn't there supposed to be a payment voucher in a proper financial system? So could we start with the authorization and the payment vouchers for these amounts?
Chair, when I have more to respond, I'll give to the finance team. But this payment was done under court order in the escrow account that they were allowed to withdraw from the bank that amount to pay salaries. So it was not passing through the county. They used to deduct from the escrow account directly as per the court order.
Who was being paid a salary?
The workers of Rendrop.
Is Rendrop's a county corporation?
No, it was a service provider. And when they were stopped collecting revenue, they went to court. And then the matters went on and on. Then they were ordered to open an escrow account. And after the many battles, the court again ordered them to, they went back to court and said they can't pay the salaries to the staff they were using to collect revenue. And the court gave a court order that they will be paid that amount, 3 point something, about 4 million, to be able to withdraw every month.
For
paying salaries.
For paying salaries
to their staff.
Of a service provider.
Yeah.
So they were paying themselves directly, automatically, without going through the county revenue fund.
Yes, they were withdrawing from their account directly, as per the court order. The court ordered actually the bank to pay them every month that amount of money, and the evidence is there, Chair.
So every month they would present a payroll?
We don't know how they did it at the court. It was part of the questions we had, Chair, when we came here last time. It was one of the things which really was...
Yeah, that's why we've started with it, because it's been lingering for a long time.
Yes, yes.
So
when we came here, Chair, last time...
218 employees. So the assumption is that the service provider would have 218 employees.
Yes. Just sitting at home and getting paid.
Getting paid
yeah.
every month.
But because it was a court order, Chair, there's nothing much you could do. During the negotiations, that's part of the things I brought up, because I asked the service provider, where are the evidence that you pay people? Where is the evidence of pay as you earn, all these things, to really show that you are paying workers? They didn't have. That's why during the negotiations on this matter, I used it a lot to argue that they had already taken money which did not reach any staff. For me, there was no evidence that they are paying any staff, if you ask me where I sit.
Okay, so let's understand the background, then we'll do a few specific questions. Because when we're looking at your receipt of revenue statement, from parking fees, you're collecting 40 million in a year. But this service provider is taking 44 million from you every year. So everything you collect from parking goes to pay their salaries. From markets, you're collecting 25 million. So everything you're living on the poor mamas, let me not call them poor, but on the hard-working mamas in markets, all that 25 million is going to pay raindrops. I think we need to understand this, because perhaps I have some background, my colleagues might not have a background, because this sounds like a scam. And when you mention the courts, we wonder how the courts could be accomplices in this scam. This is 44 million in 1 year. For how long has this 44 million been paid? For how many years now?
From 22nd September 2016, Chair. That's one thing which baffled everybody. When I came here last time, Chair, we know this matter happened.
So that's 10 years.
10 years.
So
that's why your committee ordered this matter should be resolved, because we are wasting money. And we went back, Chair, worked with the ACC.
So it's been about 440 million.
Yes, which they had already taken.
Paid to this service provider.
Yeah.
Over 10 years.
Yeah. And they were still demanding on the court settlement about 2.1 billion, which we said we can't do.
Were they still collecting? Were they still collecting?
No, they were stopped at one time. They were stopped in 2019.
So you are paying 218 employees every month, and they are not rendering any service to Kilifi County.
Yes, that is from 2019. Then they were stopped, and that's why the matter ended up in court.
So for the 440 million you paid over the 9-10 years, there's not been any return on investment.
Chair, they were working up to around 2018, 2019, when they completely stopped and they were still collecting money, salary every month. Because they went to court and said they were terminated illegally and that they have workers they need to pay, and the court gave a court order and instructed the court to pay rent drop every month.
Okay, we are still on the background, but we'll go back to the PVs and specific things that were required. Senator Ambua?
You know, Chair, Governor, this is more than interesting. So, you contract a service provider to collect money for you as a county. There's a dispute. The court rules that you pay him this X amount of money. Governor, I want you to listen to this. The court rules that you pay X amount of money, which is 4 million every month, right? For an unspecified period of time. And the court is not even demanding that the county executive should have at least this amount of money every month, so that the service providers, every time they go to the bank, they will find money there and be paid their salaries. Then at some point you sell us again, they were stopped from providing the service, but continued drawing the salary without intervention of the county executive. So when your people go to reconcile their financials, tell me, how does that work?
In addition,
okay, you can take the questions and then respond.
the county challenge that decision of the court, because paying people who are not providing services, and more so their employees, I mean, it's ridiculous. And again, we wish to know who is the owner of this company, because he needs to be blacklisted, honestly. It's a scam. It's unacceptable. Something has to be done.
Chair, can I add?
Yeah, Senator Chiragi, then Senator...
Sorry.
Then Senator Gataya.
Chair, you have to note that this is a county that once paid 51.5 million air. And that matter has been adjudicated by the court. People have been charged. I think they were convicted 75 years, and they were fined 198 million. So it looks like the trend of this county is to sell nothing but pay. So my only concern is to Governor, where is the contractual obligation or the agency agreement that might have been relied in a court of law? That is number one. Number two, the OAG has said there has been explanation. The public audit is very clear during audit period. Why was non-provision of this information given as per the Public Audit Act? And finally, I have seen at Annex 6, And Chair, I want to say at team time that I think most of the clients or entities who appear before here, imagine senators are too busy to read, or they use a principle that if you want to add something, putting it in writing. When you go at page number 50 on Annex 6, there is Kilifi County Government, November 27, November 24, 27. This you have given us the breakdown of retention as you have quoted by your response, Annex 6. I think in the bigger bundle, page 150. On November, there is blank, but there is an account of 163,813 and 411,555. Total accumulation, you can bill an ECD. This might appear small money, but it points. Why is it blank?
Yeah.
That is page 150 of your documents on Annexure 6 that you quoted in your response, in management response. Page 150, Annex 6. At Kilifi County, that is on 27 November, there was indication of 116. Others, you have indicated their retention money or payments of the retention, but on this one, it is blank 163,813, 411,455.
Which page exactly, Chair?
Page 150 of your document.
Of Annex
Annex
the
6.
Senator is querying the second part of that matter.
Because he has...
The one relating to the 135 million.
Yes.
Yeah, just to distinguish.
So that I don't need to come back, Chair.
But let's also not lose track of the raindrops one.
Yes. I don't see the one you're saying 150. There's
but
no
I thought the
chair.
chair, the neater way would have been the governor to note so that he doesn't lose track of the entire questions. But it is on page 150 so that I don't need to come back.
Page 150, Chair, I don't see anything blank there.
Annex 6.
Annex 6?
Annex 6.
Senator, you are disowning your document.
Senator, can you just point...
Page 150 exactly.
That is on 27 November 2024, Kilifi County Government. 2 entries have been made of 163,813 and 411,455. The entry on the parts, it is neither indicated in retention or it's just a blank.
Oh yes, I've seen that one.
Chair, that will be my 3 questions. I yield.
Fine. Senator Gatai?
You know, Chair, what is very puzzling is the comfort at which the county found itself sitting close to 9 years, being non-existent workers. I don't know. Maybe I would want to know whether there was any attempt to appeal the ruling from the court. Was there an appeal? Because you sat for 9 years paying people maybe from some quarters who doesn't even provide services. I think that comfort was a bit puzzling, was a bit interesting.
Okay, yes, take note of that. Do we allow the governor to respond? Governor, please respond to the issues raised.
Yes, I will respond to this one, Chair, then I'll give the county attorney on the other matter, because there was appeal from the county. But on the escrow account, Chair, the order was given by the court on the withdrawal, which again the Honourable Senator Ambua was questioning, is that in the escrow account, the guys were allowed, the court served both us and the bank. And we tried many times. I've held meetings many times with the bank top directors from Nairobi coming to Kilifi to negotiate, but they said the only way was for us to go to the court of appeal to remove that order, which was not removed till when we did the consent. So that's why the guys kept on withdrawing about 4 million shillings every month from the bank. And Chair...
did you appeal?
Sorry?
Did you appeal?
Yes, we did. We did. And
what was the outcome of the appeal?
It was still going on, Chair, and we struggled in our appeal always to appeal to the court to stop the payments, and they could not stop. And we asked the court to stop the payment in our appeals while the matter goes on, but they refused. So after our appearance here, and when we said we should involve EACC, then we took that advice. We involved EACC. Their lawyers, our lawyers, they came with crazy bills. And as a county where I sit, I told them we cannot pay that amount of money. We can talk of what is an escrow account, but not extra money.
So did the ESCC make any finding?
Yes, yes.
After you involved them?
They got involved in the whole thing for the settlement after we asked the court to allow us to have an ADR, because the contract, as the one member was questioning, I think it was Senator Wambua, the contract, everything was favoring Round Drop. And it's a contract I found running. It was messy, but we couldn't do anything. Here we are losing money. You have seen for those years how much money they have withdrawn. And the court will not allow.
Through the chair, where is the contract? Is it part of your next year?
It's not part of the annexures. But we sent it in the earlier documents. When we appeared here, when this committee told us to finalize this matter, we had sent that contract to the
So
Senate.
maybe, Chair, if we could look at the exit clause, it could guide us, because if it was only favoring one party, then it was a misrepresentation to the part of the county. Maybe when the county attorney will tell us what he did, maybe when he answers that, because it was important to look at the contract. Because if you have appeal and you have not been given a stay orders, as you move as the substantive matters in appeal is being listened to, Chair, at least they should have even at the Court of Appeal be given a stay order as the matter is being heard and determined. I find this weird. The tradition of an appeal, Chair, if it is merited, is that you at least get a stay order. The matter is heard and determined, because if they rule against these individuals, and I suspect maybe they will not have enough money plus interest to refund. So the safer way is to stay order. Maybe, Chair, when the governor and the county attorney, maybe they will tell us why the contract favored. And maybe, Chair, finally, or just out of curiosity, when the ESCC found out these findings that the contract favored, are there officials who were there and then, who are still serving now, that presided over that engagement? I yield back, Chair.
I don't know what to say, but I think some of them are in Senate with you. Now let me give my legal advisor, maybe to give a context of the whole story, then I can give to the county attorney, if you allow me, Chair.
I think we need to, Senator.
Can I distinguish so that I know the governor wants to run away, but will not allow him, because government exists in perpetuity. My only concern, while you say maybe others in Senate, I'm talking about the people who did the signing, who did the contract, is the paperwork. Is it still the county attorney, the people who sat in those offices of finance, the directors, are they still there? The people who did the legwork. Leave about the top.
I think the point is made. Let's allow the governor to respond.
Chair, before he responds, just together, I have asked who is this very powerful person? Who owns this company? And again, we've never had in the history of this country that you appeal against a decision to get a stay order, and then it is rejected. Then you don't appeal to the higher court, because this is taxpayers' money. I mean, 40.
Johnson Kadulo, through the chair, we must first establish whether actually the county government of Kilifi appealed for, even sought a stay of execution. Maybe you appealed for other things.
Yeah, so members, let's remember that a decision of the court, you can only discuss it through an appeal. So we probably cannot sit here and start scandalizing the court for making certain decisions. But it also depends on the strength of your appeal, because you have seen some counties, they send their advocates to court not with a view to winning the case, but with a view to maintaining the status quo. So let's deal with the problems of the county, not the problems of the court.
Actually, Chair.
But it has been ruled before that you can criticize the court. So long as it does not, Chair, so long as it does not go to the substantive matters in court. That is why even the current impeachment proceedings ruling, everybody is
okay, order, Senator. Let's first deal with the county. It's the county that is before us.
But
find out if there were order, Senator.
Who did the legwork?
Let's find out whether there were errors of omission or commission from the county that led to this situation. I think that the issues of judiciary should not be our focus, but what the county ought to have done or what the county failed to do.
Thank you, Chair. The First of all, you asked if the officers were still there. Yes, they are still in Kenya. One of them is a member of parliament, and another one is the Senate. One is your speaker. The other one is the county attorney, then also works in the Senate. The director legal currently works in the Senate. Chair, as I said, this is a matter we inherited. You call it sanitation, whatever. You are lawyers, you know. If you go to E57 of 2021, CGK, County Government of Kilifi, rent drops, you will get all that matter there, Chair. The only issue we could do the time we came to office, we remember, you are the one who helped us to finalize this matter, Chair, this committee. These people were still deducting money every month. Don't forget, already where we were appealing was the Court of Appeal, which had already given the direction. So we went there again to appeal. If we can get a stay or suspend the payments till the matter is heard and determined. But also we did not get any retrieve from there.
Who is the owner of the country?
I will ask the county attorney to read all the directors. At least you know them. Let the county attorney read the...
Tadulo is raising a very pertinent issue.
Lifting the veil.
Okay. Members, remember that we have considered this matter previously and gave directions. The directions was for termination. Now, Governor, you can confirm that very bad arrangement has been terminated.
Yes, Chair.
But you've not attached the consent.
We have everything. Everything we have attached, Chair.
Where's the consent?
Because as you directed that time, that the ESCC must finalize this matter and we must contact...
No, just show us the appendix that contains the consent.
Chair, and don't forget for directors to be read.
Let Mr. Binyenye say something.
We want to know who the owner, so that when Wambua becomes the governor, we warn him against such
Okay,
companies.
Let's proceed in a structured manner. The governor, you have referred to a consent.
Yes.
Dated 16th day of September 2025. I believe that is what has brought closure to the matter.
Yes, I will ask Akili Binyenye to go through it.
Is it in our files?
Yes, it is in your files.
It is in which appendix?
If I may, Chair, with your permission.
No, do we have it so that we can
Appendix
follow?
1A.
Appendix?
1A.
1A. That's because your appendices are paginated where...
It's the response dated the 5th day of June 2026. It's a smaller one.
It's a separate...
The response.
Yes.
Which page?
It's from page... it starts from page 1.
On appendix 1?
Yes. Page 1 to 39.
Okay.
That is the consent.
So give us a summary.
No.
This one signed by Honorable E.K. Usui. That's on page 39.
Honorable Chair, I think I have misled you a bit. Honorable Chair.
Chair, this is a judgment.
Okay, he's withdrawing it. So
in our three responses, the question of raindrops comes up in the receipt of revenue and in the CRF as well. Now, in the responses under the CRF and the receipt of revenue, we have attached that consent.
Where is it?
Okay, since we have them before us.
Now, as Annexure 1A, if you go to the County Revenue Fund response of 5th of June 2026, Appendix 1A, which is a 3-page document, is a consent order.
This is before Justice
Mogorethande, yes.
Is it Thande?
Yes, that one.
Sorry, you are moving faster than I am.
It's a
Is
small
that under the receiver of revenue? Or it's not in the big pack?
No, it's not in the big pack.
It's called County Revenue Fund.
Yes.
There is before justice unturned.
It's 3 pages of a document, Honorable Chair.
Okay. Just give us the highlights.
Wow. Honorable Chair, will you allow me to read the 12 items that were agreed upon between the county government of Kilifi and Raindrops with the blessings of EACC?
Okay.
Number 1, that the revenue collection agreement dated the 20th day of February 2014, as amended on the 4th day of July 2014, be and is hereby terminated on the signing of this consent and no further
Could you just, since they are properly paragraphed, just tell us the paragraph?
Paragraph 1.
Paragraph 1.
Paragraph 1.
And just be a little bit louder.
Okay, I'm sorry. That the revenue collection agreement dated 20th February 2014 as amended on the 4th day of July 2014 be and is hereby terminated on the signing of this consent and no further contractual obligations shall subsist between the parties. 2, that upon signing of the consent, an order be and is hereby issued directing the Chief Executive Officer, SBM Bank, formerly Chase Bank, to transfer all funds held in escrow accounts numbers 019894843001 and 01980948430002 to the respondents and respondents' advocates designated accounts in the following manner: Kenya shillings 305,033,345 to Commercial International Bank, Kenya Limited, account name RBZ Advocates LLP, and I think I can jump the rest. B, the balance thereof being and or approximately Kenya shillings 243,086,034 to SBM Bank.
You are on which paragraph now?
I'm still on paragraph 2. There's A and B, where the sums of money were transferred to. So that in B, the sum of 243,086,034 was transferred to Raindrops Limited. Then 3, that this amount represents a fair and reasonable estimate of the claim and includes all other costs incurred in undertaking revenue collection on behalf of the appellant, excluding weighbridge infrastructure, and covers the following. 3.1, respondent's share of 30% collection fees amounting to Kenya shillings 181 million. 3.2, cost of the suit amounting to Kenya shillings 25 million. 3.3, damages for early termination amounting to Kenya shillings 226,726,343. And 3.4, costs relating to lease agreements, tenancy obligations, office rental, salaries incurred by the respondent, and all other expenses amounting to the sum of Kenya shillings 119,089,051. Item number 4 reads as follows: that the parties jointly commission the government chief valuer to conduct a technical evaluation of infrastructure installed by the respondent at Malindi, Mavueni, Mbudzi, and Jaribuni sales collection points. A planned valuation and inspection report dated 13 July 2023 was prepared by Chief Engineer, Mechanical Engineer Richard Bitai, OGW. Number 5, that planned valuation and inspection report shall form the basis for the value and payment of the infrastructure which is in serviceable condition and valued as follows. 5.1, Malindi, PIT type weighbridge, Eagle Make 100 tons, accuracy 20 kgs, Kenya shillings 14,200,000. 5.2, Mavueni, surface mounted weighbridge, Eagle Make 100 tons, accuracy 20 kilograms, Kenya shillings 11,900,000. 5.3, Mbudzi, surface mounted weighbridge, Eagle Make 100 tons, accuracy 20 kgs, Kenya shillings 12,300,000. And 5.4, Jaribuni, surface mounted weighbridge, Eagle Make 100 tons, accuracy 20 kgs, Kenya shillings 12,300,000. 5.4, Jaribuni, surface mounted weighbridge, Eagle Make 100 tons, accuracy 20 kgs, Kenya shillings 12,200,000. Item number 6 reads as follows: that the total amount payable sum of Kenya shillings 50,600,000 for the infrastructure as per the planned valuation and inspection report dated 13 July 2023 shall be settled within 18 months from the date of handover, subject to the condition outlined under clause 7 below. Clause 7 reads as follows, that prior to the official handover, the respondent shall 7.1 service all machines and infrastructure, 7.2 replace missing parts, and 7.3 calibrate the weight bridges and adjust internal settings to ensure legal and industry standard accuracy in brackets typically within 0.1% of applied load. 7.4 hand over all machines and infrastructure within 14 days from the signing of this consent. Item number 8 reads as follows, that the appellant upon the signing and adoption by the court of this consent shall assume responsibility and within 30 days thereof assess, prepare and sign leases, tenancy agreements or addendum to existing leases and tenancy agreements with the landlords in relation to the parcels where the weight bridges are located.
I think we can leave it there because the substantive matters you have already covered.
Honorable Chair, just one thing. When you go to item number 12,
yes,
you will notice a number of court cases that were also now marked as settled with the adoption of this consent, including a number of appeal cases.
So, just in mathematical terms, what was the cost of this consent?
Around 700 million.
700 million. My maths brings it to 601.
No, 601, and this was money which was in the escrow account, so that the county government of Kilifi did not spend any extra cent. The consent was made around monies that were in the escrow account.
So, you know, when you look at this, first of all, this is one of the highest revenue share rates we've ever seen. 30% collection fees. It's typically 5-6%. So that's already a problem. And when you're taking 30% collection fees, you should be able to pay your salaries. Remember, the county was still paying the salaries for the service provider. So if you take what is contained here, the numbers contain the consent, and the amounts of money were paid over the 10 years, this is 1 billion shillings. This was a 1 billion shilling misadventure. Is that a proper assessment?
With your permission, Honorable Chair, that's a proper assessment. And when you retire to write your report, this revenue collection agreement of 2014, all said and done, it had a problem from day one. So that if it's a question of someone taking responsibility, then we have to go back there. I know governments operate in perpetuity, but this mistake was done from day one. From having an escrow account from day one, from the percentages given there, it was a mistake from day one. So when you people retire to do your report, I hope the responsible people can be brought to book. Thank you, Chair.
Now, the governor made some allegations. Remember, Governor, you are speaking under oath. So, yes, you are expected to be truthful. But are those names, those persons of interest, have they been questioned by the EACC? Because you said the EACC was part of this resolution.
I have to check, Chair. I guess they did. All what we knew we were trying to battle with is the demand they had put in court of 2.1 billion to settle their matters. There were various things they were demanding. The loss of business, the money they had put in lawyers and whatever. That's why we came to the conclusion of settling out, get what they can get, but the county don't want to sign for any more obligations with them. So, Chair, as we said, it seems like this contract, maybe you need to go through, you are a lawyer, I've seen many lawyers here, maybe you need to go through that contract, Chair, and advise us if there's anything else you could do after this. But the only thing for us was, yes.
You don't even need to go to law school to know that paragraph 3.4, where you are paying 119 million for costs relating to lease agreements, including salaries. 119 million. And yet every month they've been taking 4 million for salaries. How then do you end of it? The conception was wrong. But even at termination, you can clearly see that there are things that have been loaded that do not make sense. Because how then do you agree to pay 119 million to cover expenses, including salaries, And yet these guys have been taking 4 million every month faithfully since the year 2016. How do you pay it again? How do you pay? How do you even agree to 30% collection fee? And yet, ideally, it is that 30% that the service provider should use for paying their salaries and taking care of their expenses. You know, it was badly conceived.
Yes.
But you can also see that its termination is also laced with some questionable conclusions.
On that matter of agreeing on the consent, you agreed to pay 30% of collection fees, but remember you told us, Governor, that you had actually stopped these people from collecting on your behalf. So what is that % that you're paying? They already stopped collecting for you.
Chair, maybe before the governor answers.
Senator Chiradgi, then Senior Counsel.
To me, this is, I don't know what was happening with Kilifi County. It looks like a crime scene because they paid 51.5 million to air, which the courts have had and determined. Now we have a misadventure of almost 1 billion shillings. My concern, Governor, now that this consent has been closed, will it not stop any further investigations to some of these officials? And Chair, finally, Chair, this is a judicial process. And there was a case of Speaker Mata, I know you were in Senate then, that Parliament can do its own investigation. So, Chair, I think to make progress so that we don't be calling the county government each and every time, maybe as a committee, before we write our report, although I don't know why the county settled for this, I think maybe they were in a corner or what have you, but on this 1 billion, it is too much. Is it in order, Chair, maybe when we retire, you can either rule now or later, that some of these officials must appear before this committee? Because the reading of Article 226 in the Constitution of Kenya, you can be held responsible while in office or after office. And in fact, the Constitution is very clear, including a political office. So is there a way we can ensure the former officials who presided this grand haste that has been acted like in Netflix to be held to account? Because it looks like it was a well-orchestrated, executed scheme. In fact, these people did it better than Pablo Escobar in the Narcos, Chair. So we must sit and agree that we need to call these officials. I don't know wherever they are, whatever their persuasion is, but do we leave it as is, or we handle as a public accounts committee, take our report to the House after we get the input? Because, Chair, my worry also is the principles of natural justice. We might need to listen to these officials so that maybe they have a better reasoning as to why they went to this misadventure that we assume. Chair, I yield back and expect your
Senator.
Chair, I'm still going back. Who are the owners of this company?
I think someone was about to do the CR12.
The owners of the company and Chair, unless that person is given to us, it's like there is something hidden somewhere.
Okay.
And we know who is this really very powerful person in the county and judiciary. No, there is no need of going to CR12. They can hide through behind the CR12.
Governor, do you have the details?
The CR12, the council solicitor has requested, but the only director who we all know was called Shaib. But the other directors, I don't know if they appear in paper. The ones who are also negotiating was Ali Taib, a lawyer, very well known, who was working also at DPP, and the Kitui Maize Millers group. They were part of the, whether they appear...
Did you mention my... did you mention Kitui? What did you say?
Not you, Senator, but the company is called Kitui Maize Millers.
Order members, order. I think let's be a bit orderly. Senator Okongo Mogeni.
Chairman, before you enter into... You ask for particulars of directors. Am I right? So who did you contract with before, at the inception?
when you are contracting these entities, you must have asked them to fill names of directors. There is no way you can enter into a contract with a company whose directorship you don't know. That's one. Number two, I want somebody to break down for me and tell me what is the difference what you have added in your nation.
This contract was done before I came to office. But the other thing which Senator Cherogay have just asked on the payments, which is also a query on why you are paying this, why you are paying that. Chair, we discovered in court as a county, we had no records whatsoever in the county when we started digging into this matter after you instructed us to sort it out when we appeared here. We could not get anything within our offices. I don't know how everything was wiped, either records or whatever, but the company, Road Drop, had provided everything to the court. They got all the details of money which collected parallel to when they were on contract. People like Bamburi Cement, Mombasa Cement, the big companies were paying direct to the county in another account, while they were the ones responsible to collect the money. So when they went and got all this information and dropped it in court, the matter was coming to 2-point-something billion with evidence in court of what the county has collected, but they were not informed. So, Chair, as you have asked this question, I don't want to stop you from asking further questions, but as Senator Cherogay has said, we don't mind if the matter is investigated further. You will corner me around and around, but I will have no answers.
Chair, my question,
some of these questions I can't answer.
Chair, through you. I've asked a very simple question. Your consent at 3.2 says you are paying costs of the suit that at 25 million. Okay? Then 3.3, you are now paying damages to compensate this guy for all the losses he suffered. Then what I'm concerned with, Chair, is this other introduction of another item called costs that again appear in 3.4, where you are again paying 119 million.
And remember, Senator, this company has been deducting 4 million every month for payment of salaries.
Yeah, and they have been paid damages
for 10 years.
The lawyer has been paid costs. Which other costs are these again at 3.4? You know?
Chair.
I would like to know, the person who was paid, did they treat this as a profit? They paid their taxes to KRA, or this money was shared somewhere? What are their books looking like?
Let me let Wakili Binyenye answer that one. Then I'll come in for the next one. Thank you, Chair.
As Wakili answers that, Wakili, please tell me this. Who was the respondent in this case? Who was the respondent?
County government of Kilifi. Honorable member, the respondent was the county government of Kilifi. Now, when I go to senior counsel,
Chair, lawyers are known to speak with authority and vigor.
Yes, I'm trying.
With the gentleman?
Okay, let's not intimidate him. Let's just
Chair, I was going somewhere with that question. I was going somewhere with that question. So the salaries that you're saying you paid for that were incurred by the respondent, who was being paid?
Raindrops Limited is the one that was being paid that money. As to whether they paid pay you or not.
Wait, it's okay. It's okay. Raindrop, right?
Yes.
So, who are you paying the 4 million Kenya shillings every month? for 10 years. For salaries.
Raindrops to pay its employees, not the county government of Kilifi employees.
Okay, so now, are these people going to be paid twice?
No. As far as you're concerned, that's beyond us. Perhaps when Raindrops is here, they can give a better answer to that. Now, very kindly, if I may go to what my senior councillor Mogeni asked, 3.4 does not relate to the cost of the advocates. 3.4, and I beg to read it, reads as follows: cost relating to lease agreements, tenancy obligations, office rentals, salaries incurred by the respondent, and all other expenses.
I'm with you. What is, you have paid damages, 3.3. What damages were you paid?
Now, what happened when Raindrops went to court, when the county government of Kilifi sought to terminate the revenue collection agreement? The agreement was, if I remember well, for 25 years. So they were seeking for lost income as well. Now,
the agreement was for 20?
I think
for 10 years.
10 years.
It was for 10 years.
Sorry, my apologies. It was for 10 years. So by the time the county was terminating the contract, there was still more time to be served by Raindrops Limited. Now, the question perhaps you might be asking the governor, why did we do this consent? Now, if you have a look at the agreement on revenue collection, Raindrops was to collect a certain amount of money. We thought they'll collect maybe not less than 120 million a year. From that money, they were to get 30% as their fee. Now, the most absurd of situation is this: money collected by the county government of Kilifi directly from large taxpayers, the cement farms.
No, just tell me, what does damages encompass in this consent?
Senior,
because you have said, no. You have said you are paying this guy damages for early termination.
Yes.
Now, you cannot again tell us that you are paying him costs for 119, because damages should encompass all these things you have listed there. Because if you are paying me damages for breach of contract, how do you pay me damages, then again go down there and create something called costs? Because already you have addressed the issue of costs. In 3.2, you have paid the lawyer costs of the suit at 25 million.
Yes.
So damages that you are listing at 3.4 are the ones that are encompassed in 3.3. All those losses there you are listing in 3.4 are the ones that should be in 3.3.
And Chair, maybe just to add to on what Senator Morgan is saying, we cannot talk about loss of time because from 2014 up to 2025, already the 10 years have been served. And if that contract was for 10 years, they had already worked for 10 years. Really.
With your permission,
Chair, two issues. I think for us to get out of this,
yes,
it's unfortunate that Kilifi is losing a lot of money. And I think from the body language, knowingly, without reaching or maybe dealing with the right people who are responsible for this. So I would request, if members agree, let us have the owners of this company appear before us. Or I know the matter is in court. Number two, further investigation, high-level investigation should be sent to check forensic on this matter. I thank you.
Chair, can I add on what Senator did?
Okay, let's
Chair, I
brief
think
and
under
fast.
your guidance, we have already even recommended, now that there are different types by the OAG, we request the OAG to do special audit and forensic audit with a view of prosecuting the culprits. But looking at I empathize and sympathize with Governor. So Chair, I think let us recommend special audit. But Governor Polezangu.
And Chair, as you recommend the forensic audit, Chair, clarify that is going to be on two issues. One, on the original contract and on the consent as well. There are issues in both.
Yeah.
We cannot actually let this matter just go. We know this is money meant for Kilifi. I didn't want to buy what Senator just said, that we need some comprehensive forensic audit to establish.
With the specific
with specific people, even those people who benefited from that money should appear before this committee. You know, we cannot just keep quiet, Chair, and decide that, okay, that's all. No, we have to make sure that we go very deep into this matter and establish, because we are having a replica of the same in some other counties. The issue that Senator Morgan has raised has not been addressed.
That is
Actually, the issue that Senator Morgan is raising has not been addressed.
I thought when forensic or special audit, then we can now interrogate it properly, because at this point, the county looked desperate that they wanted to negotiate out of this bad deal. I think they were too desperate to be keen on the finer details. So maybe, Chair, if you will allow for special audit or forensic audit or further investigation, including raindrops coming here, we will be able to at least give it the necessary tooth and comb detail to look at that matter.
Yeah, if you so direct, it will be very important if we can have this engagement when we go for the Senate machinery.
And Chair, just as a reminder, this one looks like the issue of construction of Homa Bay County. It is similar. County headquarters. So it is.
No, I think let's separate matters so that today we just deal with.
Chair, but that is a matter
we deal with Kilifi. Homa Bay are coming tomorrow. We'll deal with them tomorrow.
Yeah, Auditor General, why is he trying to bring you on board now that you come from Homa Bay?
But it's not the governor; it's the senator of Homa Bay.
Okay, we lose the substance that we are dealing with in Kilifi. Let's come back to Kilifi.
I wanted to say that. The Office of the Auditor General did a special audit on raindrops and the revenue collection in Kilifi County in the year 2022. But the report was requested by the court, the special audit, and the report was submitted to the court on August 2022.
Now, since it's a public audit document, then we can also be provided with a copy.
Chairman, I'll follow up on that.
Yeah, please do so. Senator Marum?
Yeah, maybe just back to the financial statements. There's a limb of this query that may not have been answered in terms of disclosure, because the second limb of this query talks about the PVs and authorization that was not there, which you've dealt with. But the other part that the amounts that were being deducted were not included as expenditure on use of goods and services. How are you dealing with these amounts? How are you disclosing them?
I don't think the PV has been addressed. The PV has not been addressed.
Which one, Chair?
The courts were just
which one in particular, Chair?
Getting the money through a decree.
Yeah, but still, you must generate something for internally for money to leave your account. And I've seen what you've attached here as a PV as serious problems. You have attached a PV.
Yeah, so
you have attached a payment
voucher.
Yes.
For the 4 million or for
the 44?
For the 44 million.
Yeah. You've attached a payment voucher. Senator Maruma was saying it has been addressed, but it has not been addressed because there's a problem with that payment voucher.
So you can address both the PVs and then they are not included in the expenditure on use of goods and services, that amount. So how did you disclose it?
Okay. Yeah, there was some responsibility required from your finance team, despite all the negativities about the contract, but there was certain obligations, payment vouchers, disclosure. Now that you knew the decree was in force, even making provisions for it. That seems not to have been done.
Chair, maybe I need to ask the Director of Financial Accounting Services to answer this, because as far as I'm concerned with the papers I saw was that the court ordered and the money was being directly deducted to raindrops. It was actually transferred monthly. It was a standing order from SBM to raindrops. So maybe
Governor, the auditor queried a payment voucher.
Yes,
there's a payment voucher you have attached there.
Makio, can you talk
can the officer speak to it?
Yes, I'll give Makio to answer that one. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, through the Chair, I think the issue of the 44 expenditure on use of good, we have put it in the response, where we are saying that expenditure, it was recognized in the receipt of revenue, but when we discussed with the auditors, they said that this is an expenditure of executive. Why we had recognized it in the ROR is because it was deducted directly from the bank account. So we agreed with the auditors after discussion that we are going to do a prior year adjustment in this financial year so that we recognized it as an expenditure in the executive. That is why we have started that exercise by acknowledging that expenditure through the payment voucher. But this financial year
this payment voucher is an adjusting entry.
It is now a recognition of that expenditure. But this financial year now, we are going to do a prior adjustment so that we recognize.
Just a minute. Let's be clear. This payment voucher is dated 26th of January 2026. So help us understand why it's dated in the future.
Chair,
That's Appendix 5.
When we discussed with the auditors, one thing they said, we had not prepared the payment voucher.
Just help us to understand why this date is outside the audit period. I'm sure you have an explanation, because if you don't, then this payment voucher is inadmissible.
That is why I'm saying, Chair, that just like the way we prepare payment vouchers for this current financial year for any expenditure, we had prepared that voucher so that we are going to recognize it as an expenditure for this current financial year as a prior year adjustment. So when we
was there a PV charged to the receiver of revenue?
Come again, Chair?
The question is, for 44 million to leave the county, whether by decree or by contract or anything, a payment voucher is a mandatory document, is it?
Yes.
Are there exceptions when you are not required to do a payment voucher, even if it's a standing order?
No, there are no exceptions.
Yes. So where are the payment vouchers for the amount, whether it was drawn on ROR or it was drawn on the county executive?
That's what I'm saying, Chair. I don't know that I'm not getting your point properly.
But are you saying that you didn't do it, you didn't do the right thing, but now you're going to do the right thing?
Exactly. That is what
this guy is saying.
He has accepted they didn't do the right thing.
There is no payment that can be attached without a payment voucher in any arrangement.
Because again, Chair, you know, I think what you said your title is what?
Direct Accounting Services.
Yes, I think then what you're trying to do is to respond to a query by simply just ticking a box. You know, you wanted some payment voucher, there you go, you get it. But what the chair is asking you is that every time a transaction takes place in the county, there must be a payment voucher. And it cannot be a one document. I mean, this chair, if my understanding is right, these payments were made over time. It's not a one-off payment of 44 million. It was 4 million every month. A transaction was happening every month. So you wait until after 10 years or whatever number of years or months, then you prepare one voucher to cover the entire period. The entire period. I mean, that's Chair, I don't know.
Chair, I think, Chair,
Governor?
My understanding of the whole thing, I don't know how this voucher, I have the same query like you, honorable members, how the voucher of 44 came in. I don't know what discussion they had with the auditors. Because if you see the amount of money which was deducted because of the bank, because of the court order from SBM Bank to Raindrops, only when we ask for a statement, we'll know that they have picked their money. Others, half of the time, we will not even know if they have received their money this month. So I don't know how the 44 million voucher was decided to be written and for what reason. Then in that case, the voucher should have been for all the amounts which were deducted from
now,
that
Governor,
account.
you must remember that you are now the governor.
Yes.
You are speaking like you are still a member of Parliament.
Chair, I'm saying because
asking the questions we should be asking.
I'm asking, Chair, because I find it myself very confusing. And Chair, you know, we have talked about this matter. I've said I found this matter there, and I really want to go with the recommendation of Senator Cherargei and Senator Dulo that any further investigation that the committee can discuss, and it's welcome, For me, as far as I'm concerned, I took your recommendation. We worked very closely with ESCC and both lawyers, and we agreed after we saw what they tabled in court that we better finalize this matter, because the demands they have were just untenable. They were trying to look from the account 2-point-something billion for all the.
Well, through the chair, we have had you on that. I think now this is the 10th time you've said it. I think we understand it. But Governor, you must also appreciate and deal with the fact that this voucher was prepared by your people after the fact.
Actually, this is an afterthought.
After the fact. So what are they trying to do? Are they trying to cover up something? What exactly are they trying to do?
The auditor, I think, want to comment on that.
Okay.
Chairman.
Yes, Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe I can comment, Chair. Chair, if you look at the receiver of revenue statement for last financial year, 30th June, you'll realize that under payments, there was salaries paid to the service provider from that particular statement. However, what the auditors were actually saying is that if you look at the relationship between the county and the revenue collector, it's a principal-agent relationship. So the cost of revenue collection should actually be borne by the county executive. So what the county executive should have actually done was to get copies of the bank statements where that amount is deducted, then raise a journal voucher that shows what is supposed to be debited and what is supposed to be credited, and give a narration of that particular transaction. And the journal voucher is processed through the normal accounting procedures where it's prepared, authorized, and reviewed. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, members, we have dwelt on this matter for too long. There are details around accounting, bookkeeping, which baffles everybody, including the governor himself, who does not understand how the PVs were generated. And if the governor does not understand, even us, we cannot understand it. So there were some failures in record keeping. But the bigger thing is the value for money for this arrangement. And we must push this further to inquire whether this constituted value for money, whether this was lawful, whether this was prudent use of public resources. Actually, Auditor General, remember that your job is to examine whether public funds are being used prudently and lawfully. You need to tell us whether this was prudent, whether this was lawful. Now, ESCC is in this committee. Probably will not ask them to divulge details of the investigation, but this is a matter where we must have a meeting with ESCC and be told if the governor appears to know who were responsible for some of these problems, how come those people have not been called in for questioning or for statements? But on the face of it, this looks like a very imprudent use of public resources, because on the consent, we can trace about 1 billion. I think 600 million plus another 400 million that has been paid for salaries. But we have no visibility on the project implementation cost, because I believe these guys must have charged something at inception. They always do. They will always charge you for software. They'll always charge you for licenses. I'm not seeing those captured in the consent. But I believe that the total cost exceeds the 1 billion that we are seeing here. So we'll be requesting for further detailed breakdown of all the expenditure that has been incurred on raindrops, because it appears it is more than 1 billion Kenya shillings. Governor, the last time you appeared before us, we advised you to terminate this unhealthy arrangement. At least you have reported progress, even though members still have questions around the prudence and propriety of that consent. But at least we have stopped a bad thing. We have stopped a bad arrangement. Now, did we stop it badly? Did we stop a bad arrangement badly? Now, that would be the next question that this committee will be looking into. But it's not a joke. It's 1 billion Kenya shillings. And sometimes it might lead people to think that some counties are having excess money when we see this kind of arrangement. it makes it very difficult for us as senators to keep fighting for additional resources to counties. Because if one county could pay 1 billion shillings to a phantom or a mysterious service provider, surely how much can 1 billion shillings do in a county like Kilifi? So members, we will make our deliberations. When we come to Kilifi for Senate Mashinani, we'll probably expound on this matter further. And if possible, we need to bring raindrops to Kilifi. We need to tell the people of Kilifi, these are the guys who have taken 1 billion from you over the years. And let the people of Kilifi tell us whether they supplied air or they supplied some service. We might be sitting here infuriated, na pengine watu wa Kilifi are very happy. So let's pursue this further when we go to Kilifi for the Senate Mashinani. By that time, we'll have talked to the EACC. We'll have done further inquiry on the matter. I think we'll have done the CR12s, and we'll be able to summon the right people. The people who pocketed this 1 billion, if for nothing else, they must be seen by the residents of Kilifi when we come. Members?
Chair, now that you're giving direction, I think this is one matter that we need. Let's summon EACC here at the highest level. They give us a report, because the law allows us to do that. They give us a report on where they are with investigations, because this is actually a scandal. This is a scandal. Let them tell us where they are with investigation. They will even be better placed to tell us who are the directors of this company, because they can even access the bank accounts, Chair. So for the answer, let us fix a date with the EACC. We get the director, the chairman, bishop. They come and give us an update on where these investigations have reached, Chairman.
Okay.
I think, Chair, you have put that matter very well, because this is misprudent use of money meant for Kilifi people. I think I agree with the senior counsel Mugen that we can't just let 1 million go like that without 1 billion, sorry, without knowing exactly where this money is. Let's put some of the EACC, let's bring them on board. Let them tell us exactly where this money is and who are these people who are supposed now to be accountable. Now that the governor mentions a few names around, I think now that you're going to Kilifi, we must go with that report, because the people from Kilifi would want to know where is their 1 billion for those people who render services without any responsibility.
Chair, in addition, since the OAG had done a special audit in 2022, I think before the consent was done, we request Muriuki we can do an in-house briefing while we are on our en route to Kilifi. Then we agree as we look at the recommendation vis-a-vis now that the consent came after the special audit by OAG. Then, if possible, we also invite the OAG at the highest level so that they can be able to tell us further details. I know the OAG report is somehow not comfortable to many people, but it's always the right report.
Okay, I think members
a last question to the governor. It's a yes or no answer. Governor, did you see that audit, that special audit that was carried by the AG for the court? Did you see it?
No, it was only deposited in court.
Okay, let's proceed to the other issues in the report of the Auditor General.
Chair, there was one thing maybe before you close that matter, which you asked.
Yes, Governor.
If this raindrop issue was known by Kilifi residents. Yes. At one time when this company started, there were demonstrations in Kilifi County with borders and the public demanding raindrop to be removed from serving the people of Kilifi. All that evidence is there. So you can investigate further after that. Thank you very much.
So why did they demonstrate?
Because they were not happy with the services.
I think
it didn't make sense for the people of Kilifi that time.
To ensure that we are not in a position where we are making adverse findings on an entity that has not made presentations before us, it would be important for us to invite raindrops, because at this point in time, we are getting one side of the story. So that should be part of the build-up to the meetings you have suggested, and the build-up to our engagement in Kilifi. Okay. I think,
Chair, I'll plead when you invite raindrops, if you can also invite us.
No, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. We want to be fair.
Thank you, Chair.
We don't want to condemn you. We don't want to condemn raindrops or any other person without proper hearing. And I believe that the news or the reporting going out, in as much as we have there's been all this fury, but we can only settle it when we have had all the parties that have been mentioned and all the parties that have been engaged in this matter. So the next matter that we needed to deal with was unsupported receivables from an exchange transactions balance. You may note we have skipped a few matters. We shall, whatever we are not able to deal with today, we will deal with at our next engagement. Auditor General, could you read your finding?
Thank you, Chair. Unsupported trade and other payables balance. The statement of financial position, and as disclosed in Note 31 to the financial statements, reflects a balance of Kenya shillings 11,928,765,229 in respect of trade and other payables. The balance includes trade payables of Kenya shillings 10,753,258,977 and employees payables of balance of Kenya shillings 1,175,506,252. The trade and other payables recorded an increase of Kenya shillings 5,740,699,993 from the opening balance of Kenya shillings 6,188,65,236. However, a reconciliation supporting the movement, including the opening balance, amount paid for the previous year balance, and payable balance for the year under review was not provided. In addition, the trade payables balance of Kenya shillings 10,753,258,977 schedule omitted critical details such as local purchase order, local service order numbers, suppliers' invoices, delivery note numbers, and date the contracts were signed, among other supporting documentation. Further, the report on pending bills verification at the departmental level, in line with the county executive's letter dated 29th August 2025, was not provided.
You have read two different paragraphs. I thought we were dealing with unsupported receivables from an exchange transactions.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Chair. Unsupported receivables from non-exchange transactions balance. The statement of financial position as disclosed in Note 22 to the financial.
Or members, now that he has read it out, we just deal with it. Yeah. Okay, fine. So let's start with unsupported trade and other payables balance. Had you gone to? I think there was just one.
The last one
remaining.
In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness and existence of trade and other payables balance of Kenya shillings 11,928,765,229 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Governor, we could have your response on that trade and other payables.
Chair, the increase of Kenya shillings 5 million. Sorry, Chair. Chair, the increase of pending bills by Kenya shillings 5,746,99. 5 billion, sorry. 740,699,993 in the year under review was occasioned by late exchequer release of the sum of Kenya shillings 4,540,414,966, which was received and paid in July 2025. These payments will be accounted for in the financial year ending on the 30th day of June 2026 in line with the actual accrual paid basis of accounting. Attaching hours of the second day of March 2026 at pages 254 to 279 as appendix number 10 is a schedule of the late exchequer releases showing the dates received and a list of pending bills that were paid in July 2025. Non-realization of some of the budgeted revenue in the sum of Kenya shillings 5,125,857,580. The table below shows the analysis of the unrealized revenues. Attaching hours of the second day of March 2026 at the page 280 as appendix number 10.1 is a detailed analysis of the unrealized revenue. The list of pending bills, which was annexed to the financial statements, had a summary on the first page that showed the movement of the pending bills. Tabulated below is the summarized reconciliation of the movement of the pending bills during the year. The trade payables reports totaling to the sum of Kenya shillings 10,753,258,977 to 58,977 has been updated to include the previously missing details, i.e. local purchase order, local service order numbers, suppliers, invoices, delivery notes, numbers, and dates. Date the contracts were signed. Concerning the county executive's letter dated the 29th day of August 2025, tasking the internal auditors to verify pending bills, on the 27th day of October 2025, the county government reassigned this role to the Accounts Payables Subcommittee, a subcommittee of the Project Coordination Committee on Transition from Cash Basis to Accrual Basis of Accounting. To avoid duplication of roles, attaching hours of the second day of March 2026 at pages 281 to 297 as appendix number 11 are copies of the transition from cash to accrual basis of accounting projects, coordination, committee appointment, letters and minutes of the Project Coordination Committee. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Lelegwe, I noticed that you had not gone on record. My apologies. Please go on record.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Lelegwe Tumbesi, Senator for Samburu, member of this committee.
Auditor General, let's get your response on that first before we ask questions.
Thank you, Chair. The matter is still outstanding, and if you could note, if you look at the statement of financial position, you'll note that receivables from exchange transactions, that is page 2, note 21 and note 22, you'll notice that the receivables from non-exchange, which is equitable share, was 33 from exchange transaction, that is on source revenue, was 333,690,033, and from non-exchange, which is equitable share, was 4,625,151,859, which comes to 49,558,841,892. If you compare with the pending bills growth, then there's an excess of 886,858,102. So you'll note that the expenditure is increasing at a higher rate than the revenue, and that poses a problem. And two, the opening pending bills was Kenya shillings 6.1 billion. So we've not been told how much of this 6.1 billion was actually paid within the period. So that's why the issue is still outstanding. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, now I think let's go beyond the accounting and just look at this from the perspective of the suppliers and employees of Kilifi. Again, the preparers of this financial statement failed to do an aging analysis. Auditor General, because we can't tell how old this debt is, and yet in every other financial statement we have seen an aging.
Thank you, Chair. Again, there's no aging analysis, and if you look at even the employees' payables, you'll note that the opening balance during the year was 288 million, and the closing is 1.1 billion, which means there's an increase of about 886 million during the year. So that one, again, has not been tied to any specific payroll month. So actually know which payroll months were remaining and paid during the year. Thank you, Chair.
So, Governor, is Mr. Bonaventure FM Wakio present?
Yes, Chair.
Bonaventure, you are the person with the professional responsibility in preparation of these financial statements, and that is why you have appended your ISPAC member number. Why didn't you age this debt? Because this is so significant. 10 billion in terms of debt must be contextualized so that we can believe you that that was the debt for current year as a result of late exchequer. How do we, where is the evidence in your professionally done financial statements?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Chair, the financial statements which we presented a separate detailed pending bills report. What the auditor is reading there...
Mokio, the template requires you to do an aging analysis. You are the 47th county you are dealing with. We have seen it in the other 46 counties. I am asking you as a professional why you did not age the debt in the financial statements to which you have appended your signature and your membership number.
Okay, Chair, what we did, we had provided a more detailed, separate report on the pending bills, which we attached, and it was accompanied to the financial statement.
Do you have an obligation to age your debt?
We did that.
Where is it in your financial statements? Because we want to see whether this 10 billion relates to the time of the former governor or the time of the current governor. And we cannot make that conclusion unless we see an aging analysis.
We did that, Chair.
Where is it? We are looking at note 31, which has trade and other payables. In the template, underneath that table, there is usually another part where you're supposed to age your debt.
Maybe just, if you can allow me, let me just give my principal accountant, maybe just to respond on that.
How much of this debt is older than 1 year? How much is older than 2 years? How much is older than 3 years? That's what I'm asking. And I'm asking from you because you're the one who's appended his signature and membership number here.
Yeah, Chair, if you can allow me, this is the report which we had attached separately. It was not, the analysis was not included in the financial statement report, but it was attached separately.
Assuming you have it, yes. Can you then just tell us how much of this 11.9 billion is less than 1 year? How much of it is 2 years? How much of it is more than 3 years?
Yes, Chair, I can be able to read for you. Yeah, I'll start with the under 1 year. It is 7.3 billion. Then the ones aging between 1 to 2 years, it is 2.1 billion. Then those aging between 2 to 3 years is 621 million. Then over 3 years, it is 1,764,563. So the total comes to 11,928 765,228.
With respect to employee payables?
This one is included, Chair.
No. Let's separate employee payables, because if you would have done this, and I don't know why you are being obstinate, that analysis ought to be part of this financial statement, because we cannot trust whatever you are reading. I think, Auditor, maybe, I don't know why this gentleman is being intimidated. Just tell him what he was supposed to have done. Patrick.
That's true, Chairman, before the auditor comes in, because the financial statement is what is published. So whatever document is reading is not out there, it's not what has been published. So the analysis ought to have been on note 31 to the financial statement. And it's there in the template.
So I think you've made yourself clear, and I hope the gentleman has understood that when it comes to public finance management, it's not about what you're keeping as a person. It's about what is publicly disclosed. And that disclosure should have been here. Now, let's look at employee payables. That 1.1 billion that you owe employees, how is it broken down?
Yeah, as he understood that that's what he's supposed to do, because I think he's failing as a professional. What's his name, Wasa? Do you understand what's your professional obligation, what you are supposed to put in your financial statement? We start from there.
Chair, that is not a chair. Thank you for that.
So don't do the omission again. Eh?
Noted.
Yeah, so employee payables, because there's something we're trying to establish here. It's easy for a new governor to say that they have paid all their debts and whatever is remaining are unsubstantiated debts from another regime. But you can't tell if there's no aging analysis. So let's look at the employee payables and find out why you should be owing employees 1.17 billion and for what duration that has been the case.
Okay, as indicated, Chair, the total which is being owed to the employees, just a minute, is 1 billion. Is 1,173,506,252.
173?
1,175,506,252. And this one, Chair, it is as per the end of that financial year.
How is it aged?
Okay, here we have not analyzed into aging. We are just given a total amount. What we had analyzed was the total amount of the 11.9. We had not categorized it as to...
But, yeah, so, Governor, these are the areas where we are saying we must also take administrative action, because this is such an important analysis that ought not to have missed in your financial statements. And more so when you look at the amount involved. I don't know whether there's any other county beside Nairobi where we have seen a pending bill of 11 billion. 11 billion is a 2-year revenue for some counties.
Chair, it's unfortunate that the officer who is answering, he knows that this financial year, from July last year up to now, we have paid how much billions on pending bills? 5 point? But you're not telling the Senate. So how did you want them to understand? You want us to leave this room, this Senate, knowing that we have all people 11 billion when we have paid 5 billion? You're also not serious, man.
Okay, Governor, you will do that exercise when you go back home. So for now, let me give the directions.
You know, you say the governor should say the truth, nothing but absolute truth. Thank you for saying it.
No,
but now
he might intimidate his officers. I just want us to be...
Chair, what I wanted to get, so does it mean, Governor, through the chair...
They have paid 5.7 billion, Chair.
So out of...
And for an officer to stand in front of Senate, anyway, I'll deal with it when I go home.
No. Governor, maybe Senator Chiragi, so that...
Yes.
Governor, I think this is a question that is important even for you to understand. So, yes, we appreciate we have paid 5 billion, but it relates to which debt? Is it the current debt, the 2-year-old debt, or the 3-year-old debt? Because pending bills, it's supposed to be a fast charge. So even when you say you're happy you are paid 5 billion, we have no visibility on whether you're doing the first charge as required by law. So it's something that we must also probe further. Senator Chirarke.
So, Governor, out of 11 billion, you are paid 5.7 billion. In your financial statements, I have not seen the aging analysis. So maybe you might have that information here or there. What was the basis of your payment of this 5.7 billion? And now that the gentleman, was it called Makio, through the chair, he might have to take an oath. If he can be able to now that he says he has information there, if he has the aging analysis, can he get us that so that when the governor answers about paying 5.7 billion, it would be easier? Because, Governor, to imagine that even if you still owe another almost 5 to 6, average of 6 to billion, it's still a lot of money. And I want to imagine the businessmen and women of Kilifi who are being owed by the county. I can imagine the pain that they go through. So is there a schedule of breakdown of how many people have you paid in your annexures? How many are pending bill? Governor, is it here? Is it in the part of your annexures?
So maybe so that the governor can answer about
Senator Moruma?
This 1.1 billion, is it possible to disaggregate it in terms of salaries and emoluments, because there were late exchequer release, then LAP fund, LAP trust, NSSF, payee, and so on? Is it possible to break it down like that? The 1 billion, 105 million, 506, 252.
Chair, on the issue of the bills, then I'll let the officer answer on the 1.1 billion. On the issue of pending bills here, you will realize that as much as they did not put annexures, I can explain what is going on. One is, apart from the bills you have paid, they were not paid according to age. Don't forget, Chair, we have bills which, unfortunately, sometimes, like Senator Cherargei, suffer because you realize you brought equipment for hospitals and whatever, and you need to get again more, even KEMSA, medicine and whatever, that you have to again go back and pay that one first because of the urgency of it. So sometimes you will get people who are paid according to the age. Some are paid because of the services they deliver, number one. Number two is some of the current pending bills are certificates pending of ongoing projects. You will come, for example, we are building a county headquarters, which is on the 5th floor. It's being tiled at the moment. But the only money we have paid so far is about 120 million certificates. The rest are pending. So there are projects ongoing, but they still have pending certificates because of the resources management also at the same time.
Sorry, which report do you have there? Is it a report of a task force to look at the eligible and the ineligible pending bills, or is it a report of the age analysis that was required by the control of budget? What report are we having there?
And maybe in addition, Senator Moruma, that's something about segregation. The justification is, Governor, you have said you pay on need assessment. The more agent like medical supplies and whatever over ongoing projects. So that is the segregation that we wanted.
There's some here, Chair. I don't know why the officer is so nervous that he could not explain the year.
Do we have that document, Governor, here?
Chair, maybe you don't. This is on whose book? Did you hand over this to the?
Is it a report of the aging analysis or the report on a task force on the eligible?
It's not attached, Chair, but it's here. So you needed to read it and tell the Senate that you have not attached it, but you can leave a copy. Where is that Makio fellow?
No, Governor, I thought as a former member of parliament, there is procedure of tabling documents.
Yes, I know, Chair.
Why are you doing things?
No, I know, Chair, but it's the fact that he cannot answer a question when he's holding a document here.
So maybe you have intimidated him too much.
No, the Senate told me, but maybe he's scared of what action will
So,
follow.
Chair, I think the issue is this 5.7 that has been paid. We must get the how it was paid. What was the justification? Then the outstanding amount, the segregation, and then you have brought another angle, which is unusual, of raising certificates on ongoing county government projects. So if we can get that, and I think the OAG, even in most of the financial statements, not Muriuki, there have always been analysis that it becomes easy to dispense because we have said the pending bill is a fast discharge. So I want to imagine if Kilifi is having 5 billion plus as an outstanding pending bill, based on it, and counties owe our people, businessmen and women, almost 200 billion Kenya shillings. In fact, the Governor, you are among the highest with the pending bill in the country, because I've seen numbers who are paying. So maybe just as out of curiosity, now that Kilifi, is there something that is attached to the historical establishment of the devolution of Kilifi that this spending bill is unusually high? Could it be attributed to some historical, like the one we just discussed, like the one where air was being paid? Chair, we need to know, because Kilifi has have unusual high pending bill. What is maybe, Chair, so that we can do, what is, Governor, what is the general reason?
Chair.
What is the
reason, Chair,
reason?
first? The first region, Chair, the transition report I got from my predecessors, the transition committee, they gave me a bill of 3.4 billion. That's what I took over first before I came to office. So I've been trying to manage both the development and paying the previous bills and the current bills. The unfortunate thing, Chair, also, which probably makes us look like we have a big pending bill, is that among the bills which were pending, some of the analysis of the project, because immediately I came to office, I appointed a pending bills committee, you will realize also some of the pending bills we are paying, some of those projects are not finished. So we are now put money again to finish what we saw left over around the. Don't forget the times have changed. The money required, if you required 1 million finish a project 2022, you need maybe 2 million now to finish the same project. So those were the challenges. But we are trying to bridge the gap, Chair. You'll realize.
I think our analysis needs to be data-driven.
Yes, Chair.
And when we say it should be data-driven, your officer, the breakdown he has given us, indicates that 90% of your pending bills were incurred during your time in office. It's only 1.7 billion that is older than 3 years. So I don't think it's a historical problem where 90% has been incurred between 0 to 3 years.
The transition report, Chair, is there. I think we'll need to deliver the transition report to this House on what exactly was handed over. On the 1.1 billion, that is on the transition committee, which we have a report. We can, if you allow us, we can forward to the committee at a later date. And on the 1.1 million, the money.
Chair, just on a point of procedure, there is what we call equality in arms. Why is the Governor ambushing us with documents we should have brought, we will bring, we will table? You should allow that decision to the Chair. Number two, Chair, that points to the issue of readiness, because if you are saying there is a document that was not supplied, it leaves us at a disadvantaged position, Chair, yet we want to see the numbers and that movement.
Yeah, I think at the end of this, we'll be very clear, we'll be very elaborate on the detailed information that we require to deal with this matter.
That's okay, Chair. The only thing is, Chair, maybe the reason why we have not supplied some of the information, because it was not part of the questions we received. Number two, the issue of maybe the officer, if I can assist him, so that he can answer the 1.1 billion, is that the salary of June, that is 2024 2020, that query is for 1.1. The money came in July of the salary. So maybe it appears still that it was unspent, because most of the time we pay with Fuliza, depending if we are allowed Fuliza before July or it comes at the same time. So as you pay Fuliza...
How many months?
1 month. So at least out of that 1.1 billion, he should be able to deduct the delay of the salary of June.
How much do you pay per month?
It was May and June, actually.
May and June.
May and June.
How
So
much
that
per
brings
month?
almost 1.1 billion. 800 and something plus the other utilities should bridge the gap.
Yeah, so we must, even that 1.1 billion cannot just be explained by saying it was paid, because we need to understand its components. We have seen in our experience where statutory deductions are not being remitted. We have seen where pension contributions are not being remitted. And that's why we need that detailed breakdown. To avoid a situation where we are throwing figures in the air, we shall direct that, number one, we must get a proper aging analysis for trade payables and staff and employee payables. It was omitted from the financial statement. I think we need to get visibility on that. We will also need to get a proper payment plan, the one that you have come up with for pending bills. That then will demonstrate the 5 billion you're talking about that has been paid. Under employee payables, we'll need to get a detailed breakdown and confirm that statutory remittances, deductions to SACCOs, insurance premiums, etc., have been settled, because you're concerned that you opened the year with 288 million as outstanding employee payables. We need to understand why that was older than 1 year in your books. Are you deducting from employees and not remitting? But then there's another limb to this question, where the auditor is saying, you gave directions to the internal auditor to verify the pending bills. Then you took away that instruction and gave it to something else called Accounts Payable Subcommittee. Remember, you have just told us that you had a problem with the pending bills that were handed over to you. And you explained yourself even the last time you appeared before us. Don't you think that the internal auditor would be a better responsibility to verify the pending bills rather than another subcommittee comprised of finance officers, the people who perhaps caused the problem? What was the wisdom of moving this from internal audit to accounts payable subcommittee?
Chair, I know that I instructed and appointed the internal auditor to investigate pending bills, but the accounting committee, maybe the CC Finance can explain. That was not me who appointed it. Maybe you should be able to explain that.
So who are these people? Who sits in that accounts payable subcommittee?
So I think this was done by the Department of Finance. I should explain.
Because this is such a serious thing that you have more than 10 billion, which people claim you owe them. And we had said that let's leave the Auditor General out of it. Let's use the internal auditors. And then arbitrarily, you take it from the internal auditor and you give it to a subcommittee of the transition to accrual committee. What was the wisdom?
Let the CC Finance answer that.
But who appointed Governor? Who made the decision to withdraw that power from the internal audit?
No. I appointed the internal audit. If somebody went and did anything else which I'm not aware, I can explain it here.
Okay, let's hear from CC.
Thank you, Chair, and with the authority of my governor. I think we're handling two separate issues. The internal audit was specifically looking at the pending bills, but this committee that we are talking about here is a committee that was appointed as a transitional committee to move from, particularly on the reporting side, where now we were moving into the accrual. So this committee was specifically looking at transiting from the previous reporting system or method to now the accrual. So it,
I think just go back to the written response that has been read by the governor, and I would expect that you were involved in its preparation. You have said that the county government reassigned this role to the accounts payable subcommittee, full of finance officers who perhaps are the masterminds of the fake pending bills. CEC, have you seen what, because what you are saying is different from what is on paper. What is on paper says that that responsibility was reassigned from the internal auditor to the accounts payable subcommittee. So you are taking it from the internal auditor, bringing it back to finance. And perhaps finance is a crime scene.
Yeah, through you, Chairman.
Chair,
who appointed this subcommittee?
Both the person who was acting as CC that time and the current are both here, so maybe they can help each other to answer those questions.
Yeah, so CC, your explanation does not tie to this because you're saying that your explanation is that they're complementary. The response here says it was reassigned. It was taken away from internal auditor, taken to another subcommittee that is controlled by finance.
So let's say, let the chief officer of finance, seems like he wants to whisper something to me. Can you say to the committee?
Okay, chief officer of finance.
Can you say what you are trying to tell? Can you explain?
Yes, Chief Officer, and please be guided by use as a reference point should be the governor's written response, because that's what was submitted under oath.
Thank you, Chair, and with the blessings of His Excellency the Governor, this subcommittee was not supposed to take away the responsibility of the internal auditor in checking the pending bills. It was supposed to check the baseline of pending bills.
Chief Officer, do we dismiss the report that has been tabled by the governor? Because the report said that the role was reassigned to the accounts payable subcommittee. That is what has been put before us under oath.
Yeah. It's not supposed to disqualify what the governor has presented. Just giving a clarification on.
Because you have said, we have gone further and even said that was done to avoid duplication of roles. I mean,
I think it's the language.
No, that it cannot be language.
Even Chair, you know, a reading of that response, Chair, they are saying that this role was reassigned to account payable subcommittee, a subcommittee of the project coordination committee of the transition from cash basis to accrual basis of accounting, to avoid duplication. So which committee was that role reassigned? Because there are two committees here in the same sentence. Which subcommittee took over the role?
So, Governor, what do we do now? Do we trust your written response? we're in a big dilemma now.
You know now, Chair, I don't know if he's the internal auditor because you can see the internal auditor is the chair in that committee. So what happened between when we appointed her to check pending bills and that approval committee when it was formed and she became the chair? I can really not take responsibility on that, Chair.
Maybe the CC should tell us who made
My answer is correct.
Who made that decision to even reassign?
The decision of appointing internal auditor
No, reassigning that role.
Reassigning, I don't know who did the decision. Maybe after appointed the necessary to appoint another committee to help our team. I don't know, but I appointed the internal auditor because I wanted to know exactly how much pending bills we have and if there's value for what we are supposed to pay, if projects were done or not done.
And really, that's the right thing to do.
Yes.
If there is a reassignment which you cannot account for, then there's a big problem. Because, you see, Governor, we don't exist in a vacuum. Sometimes you receive anonymous messages around pending bills, payment in Kilifi. But if you now start seeing a pattern where the governor gives directions and officers reassign, then it tells you there's a problem. We are very, very uncomfortable with reassigning this role from internal audit to the same players who can generate documents from tender to delivery notes.
My question, Chair, would be to the auditor, even as we're grappling with that transfer. You know, the gravamen of this audit query is about unsupported trade and other payables of 10.7 billion, no, 11.9 billion. That in addition to the trade payables, that's the second paragraph of the same paragraph, paragraph 6. It reads, in addition, the trade payables balance of 10 billion, 10.7 billion, schedule omitted critical details such as LPO, LSOs, supply invoices, delivery notes, date of contracts, and so on. So maybe the auditor, have you received these now? And can you account for the 10.7 billion that you queried?
Thank you, Chair. No, we've not received that information in a schedule with those details. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you need to fix this problem. I'm trying to look at even the designation, and I see this letter signed by your CC for Finance, Peter Mwarogo Samuel.
Yeah, he's here. That's why I wanted him to explain.
So, Peter Mwarogo Samuel, the law required you to set up this committee for a completely different purpose, for transition from cash to accrual. Why did you usurp the function of the internal auditor by taking away that power from the internal auditor?
Thank you, Chair, for let me take this opportunity to clarify. The power of the internal auditor was not usurped in that, because the role of this committee was supposed to work on the transition to the accrual basis of accounting.
Have you read the written response that the governor has read?
I think there was an error in the written response, which we accept because it was it's not changing.
It cannot be an error.
Yes.
It is a very, very substantive matter, and in support, you have attached Appendix 11. There's Appendix 11 here, and even in that transition to accrual accounting committee, I can see the internal auditor
is part of that
as the secretary, isn't it?
Is it the chair?
No. The internal auditor is there as what?
The chair.
Look at minute 4 of 2025, 2026, terms of reference.
Internal auditor is supposed to be the chair of that committee.
Which committee?
The transition committee to the subcommittee for the transition to accruals.
The chief officer finance was designated as a chairman, the director accounting services a project coordinator, while the director internal audit services was a secretary. That is as per the minutes you have submitted. Now, this is a team that you want to verify pending bills. Chief officer finance, who may have been responsible for fake pending bills. Director accounting services, who may be responsible. What then would be the independence, functional independence of the internal auditor when made the secretary to the chief officer, made secretary to the direct accounting services in terms of verifying the accuracy and completeness of pending bills. You'll just end up with, it'll just be a lab for manufacturing and laundering pending bills. There is a problem here, Governor. So I think we have demonstrated enough of it. We might just want to ask you to do one or two things so that when we come to Kilifi, we can have a better conversation. Because I think you have seen where the gaps are. Please go and review this so that when you are presenting pending bills, even you as a governor, you've got a good feeling that it is verifiable and it is accurate. But you need to look at those internal reassignments because they might conflict the objective you have as a CEO of the county.
Thank you, Chair. And I have just a committee which I gazetted, and I've just completed to look into all those things you see in their papers, which will be reporting to me in the next few weeks. So that will be able to give me a really.
Okay. Since we have a definite date when we come to Kilifi, we can probe this further because it's not just numbers. These are small companies. These are lives that are at stake. So maybe when we come to Kilifi, make sure that we've got a more detailed analysis of this and better responses than what we have received here.
But here I'm very uncomfortable because if pending bills worth 10.7 billion, the documents are not there. It means that these people will not be paid. So you need to really give us an indication where these documents are. If they are not within the presence of county government of Kilifi, then the suppliers should really provide.
They are, Chair.
Yeah?
There, we have, as I've said,
yes.
You will see there's a gazette. I did not, because it was not part of the questions, I did not bring it. I've had a pending bills committee running for the last 60 days. They have just completed their work. They have all the vouchers and pending bills with them. The last 2 months' bills were being paid after they clear document from that committee. And not only the document, but they must clear. The instructions and terms of reference from me was two things. The voucher and the really project. Pictorial, or the committee goes physically to verify before they tell Treasury to pay. So we have more details. We'll provide that, Chair, when you come.
Okay, fine. So I think the last observation here, there's something here, honorable members, that is crazy. In the sense that in the month of July 2025, Kilifi County received 4.5 billion. That is in the management response. Management response, page 8, where the governor is talking about late exchequer releases. The governor's response on page 8, where the governor explains the reasons for the pending bills. And I think it's a matter of national concern. If 4.5 billion can come in July, and the entity is expected to utilize that money within those timeframes. I don't know. Today is 15th of June. You have 15 days to the end of the financial year. How much remains unremitted to Kilifi?
May and June, Chair.
And that's how much in total?
Will be 2.2 or something, thereabouts.
2.2?
Yeah. But you'll see that
to the end of the financial year?
Yes.
So this one was 4.5 billion.
Chair, you'll see you have money there from conditional grants. Kilifi has a lot of that. We have the water, we have like 1.7 billion. We have royalties, 950, which was probably pending for 2 years. We have KUSAP, we have KISIP, we have FLOCA. We have all these things. So I think these guys should be able to explain all that money was for which entities.
No. I mean, it's not a problem. We are just asking ourselves, if you're given 4.5 billion in July, and given 14 days to spend it. Because that's the situation, isn't it?
Yeah, what happens here is...
The system is open up to 15th of July.
Yes, what happens here is some of these monies, they don't stay in the CRF. They go straight to the entities, special purpose account. If it's water, it goes to the two companies because it's indicated they have 700 million maybe for Malindi Water, 500 million for Kilifi Water. It's transferred. If it's KIPES, the money is transferred to the special account of KIPES. So it does not stay in the same account. It will be, yes.
But what Chair is saying is you must spend that money within 15 days. And what we are saying is it's very untidy the way national government is transferring cash. I thought you should agree with us. That
yes, I agree with you. Yes. We have received the money very late.
Yes, that's the issue. We are
actually, we received after you people intervened, the senators intervened, that the money is... You remember there was the signing of the conditional grants, which delayed for so long. First it came to you, then it passed through you, then the president assented. It all took so long. Actually, the World Bank, the country director visited, and we had a meeting with me, with all the team of World Bank. That's why they have extended the time of completing these projects. Because it was not tenable that the money came to Treasury, but they did not, for some reason, disburse those money. But I think the government, national government, managed to explain to World Bank, so they came and we adjusted all the timelines.
I think, Governor, this is a challenge we throw to you.
Yeah.
The next time the Council of Governors is meeting in Kilifi, let them make resolutions that are more useful to the nation. There is no way that you can get 25% of your money in July, and then you have to spend it in 14, 15 days. Those are far more productive issues to engage on. This amount of money is what Tharaka Nithi gets in a year. Tharaka Nithi spends that money in 365 days, and then it is sent to you to be spent in 14 days. I mean, we must hold Treasury to account. It is not, there is no, unless they are gods and angels in Kilifi. If you have to spend 4 billion in 14 days, itakulwa. So that must be the conversation. We jointly take a position and face the National Treasury head on. This is extremely untidy. 4 billion in July, and we have to spend it within 15 days.
Thank you, Chair. We'll need help from you. I know we still struggle through Council of Governors, but if the Senate committee comes in, will help us a big deal, because you can even summon Treasury.
Just to go on record is that, you know, National Treasury has been always violating Article 219, because when the money is appropriated by the Parliament, it should be released without undue delay. And I remember, Chair, I think all of us in this room, except Senator Kataya, we were in the last session, and we had to censure the former minister, Ukuri Yatani, over similar matters of delay in exchequer releases to counties. So I don't know what is the wisdom of National Treasury to delay the release of the money up to the last minute. And of course, there is the issue of now EGP. There is the issue of deadline and access through the IFMIS. So there are still many challenges with IFMIS in terms of, and also control of budget?
Yeah, actually, where we spend a lot of time is the control of budget. If you see the last disbursement, it took us at least 4 weeks to be cleared everything. As I'm talking to you this morning, I was battling with my teams to make sure that the legal department of COB clears insurance for our staff. Don't forget the insurance expired. I've been negotiating with the insurance company that please don't discontinue us. But it's already 4 weeks now. The money we have in the account, but we can't pay because we are waiting for clearance.
Chairman, Governor, I thought SHA is working. Why are you taking private insurance?
And I knew that is where Congo Mugen would want to go. I was just waiting for that. I thought the governor, I think I assist you, governor. I thought you meant other forms of insurance like car insurance, car cover. So why is Senator Congo Mugen quick to run to share? And by the way, he was missing in United Opposition rallies in Western. You should have said those ones in rallies, not in this committee.
Order, members.
Chaired by the broad-based chair.
There is a substantive audit finding on irregular procurement of insurance services. I think we can have that conversation when we get to it. Now,
we keep learning. I want to understand. Teachers are covered by SHA. It's working. We day in, day out, we get serious queries.
Share point of relevance.
From
we are not discussing teachers.
Just a minute.
No, let me just prosecute, then we rule.
Yeah, you have been asking us to ask some of the questions. Yet when it comes
I think let's allow Senator.
We are facing this problem, including where I come from, Nyamira, where you find we are paying a lot of money to SHA to cover employees working within the county government. And again, you are paying a lot of money to private insurance companies. Notice, I think we had a big issue from Nandi, audit query. So I want to really understand, how do we progress as a country? When I was in health committee last time, we had said if we have a universal health coverage, more money will be paid to that entity so that it's liquid to support universal health coverage. Now, with this idea of counties opting for private insurance, how do we reconcile?
Now, Governor, let's just to make sure that we are still relevant and in the audit, let's just examine that under irregular procurement of insurance services.
Thank you, Chair.
I think that's under lawfulness. It's the first paragraph on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources. Auditor General, so that it's not a hypothetical conversation. We can see how much Kilifi is spending on insurance and whether there could have been better value for money if it was done through a state insurance scheme.
Thank you, Chair. Irregular procurement of insurance services. Management engaged an insurance firm to provide medical insurance at a cost of Kenya shillings 398,331,861 per year through a contract signed on 27th January 2023 to run from March 2023 to 29th February 2024 with an option of renewing the contract by the client subject to an internal performance review by the client's representative, and a notice to renew shall be served to the service provider not later than 1 month preceding the end date. A new contract agreement was signed on March 2024 for a period of 1 year until 28th February 2025 with an option of renewal by the client subject to an internal performance review by the client representative, and a notice to renew shall be served to the service provider not later than 1 month preceding the end date. The contract was again renewed for a period of 2 months from 4th March 2025 to 4th May 2025 at a cost of Kenya shillings 79,666,373 through an addendum agreement dated 25th February 2025. However, based on the contract sum for the last 2 years, the prorated cost of the 2 months is Kenya shillings 66,338,643, resulting to an explained variance of Kenya shillings 13,277,730. This was contrary to Section 139, Subsection 2, Subsection A of the Public Procurement and Asset Procurement Disposal Act, which states that an accounting officer of a procuring entity, on recommendation of an evaluation committee, may approve a variation of a contract, which shall be accompanied by a certificate from the tenderer making a justification for such cost extension of the contract period. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Governor, your response?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the county government of Kilifi did a fresh tender advertisement for the medical insurance services on the 18th day of February 2025. On the 25th day of February 2025, the county government of Kilifi received a complaint from an advocate on material governance issues to be addressed. On the strength of the complaint, a consideration for termination was initiated and the tender was ultimately cancelled on the 10th day of March 2025 following an advisory letter reference number PPRA stroke MSA stroke 5 stroke 10 volume .171 dated the 7th day of March 2025 from the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. To avert the risk of exposure of our staff and their dependents from non-coverage of medical insurance owing to procurement procedural delays, the accounting officer extended the contract with the service provider for a period of 2 months, pursuant to the recommendations from the Contracts Implementation Committee following a meeting held on the 25th day of February 2025. Further, the premiums for the 2-month extension were higher than the prorated amount, since members had fully access to their full benefits for the 2 months, and the benefits could not be prorated. A risk premium of 20% was charged to cater for the members who might have assessed fully cover limits within the 2 months. Attaching hours of the 2nd day of March 2026 at pages 700 to 719 as appendix number 22 are minutes of the Contract Implementation Committee dated the 25th day of February 2025, authorizing extension of the contract to the accounting officer. 2, request letter by the county government of Kilifi for extension of the medical contract for 2 months, dated the 25th day of February 2025. Acceptance letter by the medical insurance cover provider for the extension of the contract from the service provider, stating the additional 20% risk premium, dated the 26th date of February 2025. Quotation for premiums from the service provider for the 2 months extension. Minutes of the Contract Implementation Committee dated 27th day of February 2025. Acceptance letter by the county government of Kilifi of the quotation of premiums dated the 28th day of February 2025. Letter referenced KCG PSM PO 2024/2025/volume 1 /07 and date the 18th day of March 2025 by the county government of Kilifi to the Director General, the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. Letter reference EKA PPRA 006/006 and dated the 25th day of February 2025 by the law firm of Onindo and Associates Advocates to the Director General, the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. Advisory letter reference PPRA MCA 5 MSA 5 10 volume 1 71 and dated the 7th day of March 2025 from the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. Thank you, Chair.
Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. Based on the client's response, the query was asking for 2 things. One was on approval for the variation of the contract, the procedure that is applied, and a recommendation from the Evaluation Tender Committee. Those documentation are not within the documents attached, and that was the basis of the query. So in terms of the response, the management was still in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you have given a very elaborate response. Why can't it be supported by documentary evidence?
I don't know what time when we have tendencies sometimes here, which I always try to run on my officers, that the time they get the documents most of the time is when the auditors either have exited or whatever. But we have said we'll do it differently. We have been in communication with the AOG that during the entry and exit, when I'm there myself, I'll be able to get in between what they are looking and they are missing so that it's provided for. But in the meantime, Chair, if you allow us, we'll provide this to the AOG, ASP, as soon as possible.
It's not part of the annexures you have here, because I'm going through your Appendix 22.
I think the variation was not part of. There's some documents, but the variation I don't think is there.
Okay, so if it's not here, then the matter is still open. Now we might then ponder on the question raised by Senator Okongo Mogeni. You are spending 400 million a year on staff medical insurance. Can this not be provided through the Social Health Authority if they've got an institutional cover?
Chair, unless we engage, I know when we were in National Assembly at one time we engaged in NHIF. Unless we engage because you realize that the payments SHA do, SHA is working very well. From our hospitals, we can say the only thing we have is always the delay of reimbursement. Otherwise, payment for a client, when you walk into the hospital, you have been treated, and payment will be done and will release you. But our reimbursement now is what takes time. Don't forget, many of the private hospitals here have not yet embraced to take the SHA in their hospitals. So, and for us to be able to maintain the insurance for our staff and their families, we are still forced to keep this. Still, when we have a stable and that many private hospitals can accept this SHA, then we can be able to engage our staff on that.
Governor, you note the contradiction.
No, there's no contradiction, Chair.
Because you're saying it works very well. So
for us,
the question
in the
is,
government hospital,
if it works so well, why would you need to go to Amana Insurance Brokers and Britam, a private medical insurance provider?
Chair, what I meant, it works very well in the government hospitals.
In fact,
the private hospitals.
Governor, through the chair, you see, I don't know why you are telling us about a private hospital. I thought you should be telling us that you have public hospitals in Kilifi that can serve the people of Kilifi. Because health is devolved, you can make your hospital to be better than Aga Khan. And people of Kilifi will seek medical help from your public hospitals. You don't need to come here and confess that you are of the view that private hospitals are better equipped than our government entities. And then, just to borrow from what the chairman said, this meeting you had in Kilifi, if the problem with SHA is on defined benefits, you can, as COG, you can make a request to Senate to make some amendments to the law so that SHA has defined benefits that can be accessed by the people working in your counties. If you want inpatient of a certain amount, outpatient, dental, you can make that proposal so that we can say governors are taking care of the health of people who reside in our counties.
Thank you, Chair. I think on that, Chair, what I must say is, one, it's a very good idea, and that's what I'm really looking forward. I have already engaged different partners who are locals of Kilifi to start providing a private wing at Malindi Hospital, eventually at Kilifi Hospital. So all these facilities which...
Chair, that is dangerous. I don't agree with that because maybe we went with health committee. In one of the sub-counties, governor, in a level 4 hospital called Maraba sub-county in Tindred near Kisumu, they have done what you are trying to do. So you find where ordinary the Olopolois are walking into is very dirty, there's no drugs, there's no... But in the same hospital, the one they have is using that the SHA runs, has everything, has drugs, has doctors, is very clean. So it creates two classes of citizens, which is dangerous.
So let's hear what is.
Yeah, we are not discriminating anybody, Chair. You will see the different type of services. The insurance does not only for it's not only for our staff. What we are trying to encourage now with the improvement we are doing in hospitals. I wish we got the hospitals at a level where we could already admit. But now you could see we are admitting some of the hospitals, and we have tried now to accredit even some insurances so that even any other person who does not work in the county but is insured can still be able to come and pay there. If they are not insured, they have another private insurance. That's where we want to go with hospital, but does not mean we are discriminating the other.
Without maybe the governor
users.
going to private insurance or private wing of a public hospital, what is wrong with just enhancing SHA? Have you approached SHA to have something equivalent to enhanced NHIF for public servants? Because really, if you have 400 million pumped into SHA, I think it will work even better. So what are the challenges? Have you approached SHA? What did they say?
As I said, I want to borrow the chairman and Senator Mugeni's advice that we engage a COG and engage SHA and see if we can come with better terms. I know that we did it when we were in Parliament, when the former members, we have what was called FOPA, which we negotiated with NHIF, and they were paying for us substantive amount of money through NHIF to sustain especially members who had left Parliament and they did not have insurance. So we'll approach SHA.
There was, I think someone introduced themselves in a delegation as head of health or something, medical services. They've gone out. Because
Chief
really,
officer is here for health services.
That's a chief officer, health services. Now, chief officer, beyond what has been queried here, maybe just going back to Senator Mogeni's question, does SHA have an institutional product that can cover the employees of Kilifi? Have they developed something?
Yes, but there are some services, scope of services that by the time we are thinking of engaging the private insurance company, we had not set up. Well, I'll give an example. By that time, we didn't have a single CT scan in the county. So we had to refer those patients to another county, probably in private hospitals. So because of those services that we did not have at that particular moment, this idea of having...
We didn't have a CT scan.
Yes, but we do now.
And yet
yes.
we have sat here for the last 7 years approving money for managed equipment scheme. MES, which was supposed to provide those facilities.
Yes, but the management equipment services, the packages were not standard for all the counties. The counties were getting CT scans, others were getting MRI, others were lab, other counties were ICU. So for Kilifi, at that time, we did not have the CT scan, but we have now. We are actually having two. So I'm just giving that as an example, that the scope of services that, sorry.
How did you acquire that CT scan?
We procured one as a county, and then now there's the new National Equipment Program, the NESP. We have also acquired one CT scan through that program. So we have two CT scans now. So now there will be no need for even our staff to get these services from either the private hospital or out to the county.
And it's an important point, which maybe we can just deliberate on it a bit. And I like the information. So it means that what stops us from going full blast on SHA for employee cover is the sorry state of public facilities.
Yes, especially equipment and quite some services that probably the healthcare workers will run. Like, for example, we could be offering the general surgery through the normal way, but a healthcare worker would want to benefit from a service that he himself is offering. For example, laparoscopic surgery. We might not have the tower for laparoscopic surgery, but it's available in a private hospital.
A private hospital.
Yes. So
No, I get the point. I understand you. So the responsibility still goes back to the county government.
Because you see, it's you, Governor, to make your county hospital the most attractive facility. Like a chief officer, God forbid, if you collapsed in your office and we needed to rush you to hospital, will we go to the county referral hospital or will we opt to go to the private hospital?
Right now, I can confidently say that we are, and you will be able to witness that when you come to Kilifi, you will visit. There's a lot of investment that through the governor, His Excellency, have done, and we have all the services now.
Which one? So if we have which one?
The Kilifi County Referral Hospital.
Okay. You have a heart surgery?
Yes, we have a cardiothoracic surgeon. We have a cardiothoracic surgeon who just come to school. So we're in the process of equipping one theater out of the 6 theaters we have, so that we can have open heart surgery. In the moment, we did not have ICU. Now we have an ICU, so we can.
If you come from Speaker Kingi's village,
yes, Marafa,
and you had a problem, how long will it take you to get there? To your state-of-art facility?
About 20 minutes.
From Adu to Kilifi. From Adu to Kilifi will probably be 1 hour.
1 hour. Yeah,
And
in which case,
is 1 hour plus.
The cardiac will be arrested by that time.
Yeah. But, Chair, what we are doing...
Governor, as you respond,
now.
Governor, as you respond,
Governor,
because
the road is tarmacked.
Only, I did 4 kilometers when I came to office of that road. Now the president has come up with a program to tarmac it all the way to Kamale.
So you might not have cardiac arrest, okay.
So, Governor, for some of us who were born in that era, when government was government, me, I was born in a government hospital. I saw that we are encouraging our women to go and deliver. Is it a level 2?
Yes.
Primary health care.
Yes.
Have you improved the beds? Because the last time we made a visitation in a health facility, Mama Naza nalala kwa ile kitanda flat. In a private, you'll find this bed, they adjust. Unafinya tu namna hii, the way moyo went somewhere, inainuka tu pole pole. I don't know whether you have, that's what we are looking at. You know, some of us who believe in devolution,
Chair,
I don't know whether we have reached that level.
We have changed all that, Chair. When I came to office, we had only the fabricated beds. Now we have all the modern beds. Even when you have the business of you having family members to lift you up because you are too heavy to be treated by the doctor, we have now a remote control. You can turn anybody at any weight. We have about 16 of those. And then the other beds, like Mombasa Hospital and Nairobi. When you come to Kilifi, Chair, I invite you to visit Malindi Hospital and Kilifi with me, and you'll see the transformation of health. The problem we still have, why we have all what we are saying, people, we still have to take insurance, we still very low on diagnostic. Where I sit since I came to office, and the doctors and the team here, they'll tell you, what I'm really fighting for is diagnostic. We had no ICU working, we had only 1 bed, now we had 11 in Kilifi. I am doing another 11 beds ICU in Malindi and HDU. By the time you come, we'll be full operational. We have finished constructing everything. You will also find that when it came to things like dialysis, they were non-existent when I came to office. So what I do through partnership with the Hungarian embassy, I got now a cooperation where they do placement of beds and we buy reagents. So now we have dialysis in Kilifi County. So if we put together all these things here, we will not need to go to
no, Governor, you are scaring us. Yes. Because you can't say in 10 years, when you came in, there was no dialysis, there was no CT scan.
The bed was one working, Chair. I didn't say there was one working.
I think we need to be fair to the past administration.
No, Chair. But Chair, the law.
You have got a very beautiful mansion.
No, Chair.
As a governor, it can't be that there was no dialysis.
I've never stayed in that mansion, Chair, since I came to office.
And you even say there was
nevertheless,
no CT scan.
How many dialysis beds do you have now? As we
have in Kilifi 5, total 11.
The whole county.
And we think with our cooperation with the Hungarian government, we are expecting 13 more. We had a problem with what is going on now. We should have saved the other 14 to expand.
Chair, maybe a nice.
But the truth, Chair, is I'm not trying to really this on what you do when you come. We'll take you in a small movie. You see how we took health and where we are now. Maybe you'll appreciate.
So, Chair, before we go to movies, can you tell us how many ICU beds do you have as per now? And then, Chair, maybe before you, just on indulgence, Governor, you remember there was that time of COVID, and there were creation of isolation centers, there were ICU beds, what have you. Then, unfortunately, you also had the challenge of Shakahola, where the bodies are yet to be released. I'm told it's still in Malindi sub-county morgue. So with all these challenges, what you picked from, where you picked from, to where you are, it looks like for the past 10 years there was nothing happening. Now it's happening under your leadership.
They did what they could do, but you have heard what all the new things we are trying to put into place. As I'm talking to you, the MRI which was bought with that equipment is absolute now. You can't use it. The ICU from 1 bed, now we're at 7. And because of that confidence I have, that's why my father was admitted in the same hospital till he passed on. Yeah, and many other leaders. The other day, the MP for Kilifi, not the mother, was there, was first in a coma, was released, came back after a few months. You couldn't that do before. At the moment, actually, Malindi and Kilifi is serving Tana River and sometimes Lamu. We have many, and Garissa, we have many patients from there coming to Kilifi on CT scan, on all these other things. So we are building up the health sector. I don't want to condemn the previous government that they do something. They tried their best, but what you realize, and you queried us before, even during COVID, some of the things which were bought were already second-hand from wherever they came from. All what I'm investing on now is every equipment I buy brand new. That's the difference.
Yeah, so members will, when we go to Kilifi, I know that the health committee will also move around to see some of the benefits or some of the gains. And,
we can do what we did with Busia. You remember we did.
Yes. And I think oversight is best done on the ground. We'll also join the health committee to look at some of these issues. But I think where we started off was this 400 million. If every other county was to spend the same amount on medical insurance through private underwriters, it's about 5% of the money we send to counties, because it's almost 20 billion. So the question we must ask ourselves is, if we agree that SHA is viable and that it can work, why shouldn't we invest in facilities, public facilities, and so that even if you're paying premium, it goes to SHA rather than to the private underwriters? Because of this 400 million, 10% is already lost as commission to brokers. So that's a broad conversation that we should be having. As to the substantive audit issue, I think just provide those certificates that the auditor is asking for, because the explanation here makes sense, because insurance companies sometimes apply short-term rates, and short-term rates are not exactly equivalent to the prorated figure. So please provide that certificate so that we can close this matter. We had agreed that we'd run this meeting up to 2. I can see we are 20 minutes past 2. The reason for that was if any matter remains unaddressed, and there are very many issues that have remained unaddressed, we can have some business to do when we come to Kilifi in terms of site visits, and also it will allow you to put your documentation in order. You have seen the issues you have had with pending bills, and one of the 2 matters that we have covered so far. So I want to beg the indulgence of the senators that we can deal with one matter, and then once we are done with that, we can defer the rest of the issues to our next sitting in Kilifi. And that would be on deposits and prepayments, supported refundable deposits and prepayments. That's on number 7 on the certificate. Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. Unsupported refundable deposits and prepayments. The statement of financial position, and as disclosed in note 32 to the financial statements, reflect refundable deposits and prepayments balance of Kenya shillings 125,388,855, which was a decrease of Kenya shillings 59,381,194 from a balance of Kenya shillings 184,770,49 reported as at 1st July 2024. However, the reported balance was not supported by a deposit retention register. In addition, Note 20 to the financial statement on cash and cash equivalent reflects a balance of Kenya shillings 26,386,567 held in the county deposit bank account, resulting to an explained variance of Kenya shillings 99,288. In the circumstances, the accuracy, completeness, and existence of refundable deposits and prepayments balance of Kenya shillings 388,855 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your response?
Thank you, Chair. Attached in hours of the second day of March 2026 at the pages 298 to 282 as appendix number 12 is a copy of the County Government of Kilifi Deposit Account Retention Register as at the 30th day of June 2025. The variance of 99 the variance of 99,002,288 refers to money borrowed from the deposit account. The sum of Kenya shillings 89,501,089 was refunded on the 27th day of February 2026, attached in hours of the second day of March 2026 at pages 383 as appendix number 12.1 is a copy of the Kilifi County Deposits Account number 1,357,339 account statement. Thank you, Chair.
Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. We reviewed, as I had stated earlier, in my response to the unrefundable deposits, they're referred to on Note 20 and Note 32. And you'll find that on Note 20, the decrease is about 137 million. And Note 32, the decrease is about 59 million, which comes to about 196 million in total. So if you look at the appendix that they're actually giving, if you look at appendix 12.1, which is 383, basically that amount is not reflected in the bank statement, because the bank statement that we have shows a cumulative figure of should be about 110 million. And if you look at the decrease is about 196 million. So there's still a variance that needs to be looked at.
Now, Auditor, I think let's just go step by step. You required a deposit retention register.
Register, yes.
Has that been provided?
No.
Governor, the requirement was a deposit or retention register to support the reported balance.
Chair, what is attached there is a bank statement, but if you require further explanation, then I could give.
No, Governor, what's the value of your appendices? Because you have Appendix 12 and 12.1.
Was to prove the discrepancy. The register was not there. Now it's there.
Auditor General, have you looked at that Appendix 12?
Pardon? Yes, I've looked at it, yes.
Does it answer your query on a deposit stroke retention register?
No, a deposit register should actually show you the receipts and the payments out of the account and the remaining balance at the end of the period. Thank you, Chair. And it doesn't meet that criteria.
So, Governor, the Auditor General is saying that this is about 100 pages of hot air.
No, it's not true. Maybe if he didn't have the documents, now he can verify, can ask for time to verify. But I'll give Makio and the CEO Finance to answer that.
Yeah, I mean, a register, it's either there or not. So it's not something that we should even debate.
And the
Can you answer?
6 that I asked about, I saw it had something to do with retention. Annex 6, if I can refer, where I pointed there were blanks. If you look at the Annex 6 of your document, there is the schedule of retention. Does it explain the same?
The two rows that you had cited earlier.
The whole of it also, because when you go through Annex 6, the total governor of, you have indicated all these as retention, it comes to, I think it was 200, just with your indulgence, Chair, it was coming to 286 million. Is this the same register in Annex 6? Governor?
Yeah, what is attached there, it reads in turn, retention, Kilifi County Retention Account Register. So I'll give one of the finance officers to explain that.
Governor, is it the same with Annex 6? Is it the same register?
No, it's not.
Oh, this
it's on
page 1. Because these are list of payments paid out of deposit account.
On page 298,
yes.
You'll see that register there. So can you explain?
98.
Yeah, the auditor says that is not what he wanted.
Yes. Chair, if I can explain, if you go to appendix number 12, appendix number 12, that is a retention register, where the first column we have payments retained. We have payments paid out of retention. The second column we have payments retained, and we have the balance. That is the cumulative balance in the retention register, in the retention account, in the last column.
Auditor General, first of all, the print is very tiny, so we're struggling to make sense. But I'm seeing on page 382, there is a balance there, a total balance of 120. Can you read it out, officer? This is your document. What's the total on page 382?
Chairman, the amount is 125,388,855.33. That's the cumulative.
Okay, so Auditor, is this what you wanted, or there was further information that was required?
Thank you, Chair. I guess when we say about a register would be an independent document that actually shows, one, the receipts received and the receipts out of the account, and two, when you receive the receipts, there has to be a serial number that follows a sequence that shows you the completeness of the information. On the payment side, you should also see a serial number that is paying out, so that when you look at the serial numbers, then you can see the completeness. Basically, what we've given here, as much as they're saying it's a register, but when it comes to now the assertion of completeness, it's very difficult to tell whether it's actually complete. And two.
Okay, yeah, just before you lose us, I think, Governor, the key query here is that the prior year, you had a balance of 184 million. There was a movement of 59 million, which could have been payments, isn't it?
Yes.
And so you ended up with a balance of 125 million. Your register should have also included those payments. Is that what you're saying, Auditor General?
Pardon?
The register should have included the payments to confirm the movement from 184 to 125.
Yes, Chair. Because we need to have an opening balance, then you see the receipts, then you less the payments, then you get the balance.
So how do we move from 184 to 125? Right. Because that was also part of the query. 59.38 million. You have given us a schedule for 125, but the Auditor General says you started at 184, and he has no idea how you closed at 125.
Maybe, Chair, also because the person who was dealing with this in AOG is disposed, maybe we need to get the person relieving to acquaint himself with the information you have. Then whatever you think needs to be forwarded, and especially on your Kilifi trip, the queries we have, if we get a list of all the issues which we need to provide paperwork, we could do that, Chair. Because now...
Governor, the Office of the Auditor General is not a person.
Yes, I know.
It is an institution.
I know, Chair.
So the absence of one person cannot invalidate our proceedings.
But, Chair, if you see the register, I know that, Chair, but you know the information we have here, depending on when he took over to deal with this matter, would probably have not gone through with all the document here. But alas,
no, Governor, I mean, these members are have got the appropriate ability. All you need to demonstrate to us here is your movement from 184 million to 125 million.
So I'll give one of the officers to...
Yeah.
Can you go through it? Because they're so small, I can't read it.
Chair,
the governor is also struggling to read
Chair,
it, so I wonder how we are going to...
As an industrious member of this committee, the majority is constructions of toilets. So maybe you will tell us, why do classrooms? I thought it comes attached with toilets, because majority have been skimming through. And I told you, Governor, you are lucky some of us read these things in the interest of Kenyans.
You mean what?
We read. In fact, your people decided to bring us a small print, thinking that we'll not see.
No,
But
Chair,
some of us have even spiritualized that we can see.
I have the same problem always, Chair. I always tell them to
And
make
you
it
are
bold.
lucky that Senator Sifuna is not here with us. It would have been more fire.
Again, the Senate is not an individual, it's an institution.
And
so.
Chair, I think on the issue asking about toilets,
Yeah, it's the majority in your
Chair, there's a possibility. What I can tell you, Chair, and it happens also when you are members of parliament and the CDF, that you get a member of parliament, and this is what has happened in the county. You find an ECD was built, no toilets. This was built, no toilets. Now you go back, you ask for toilets, you ask for furnitures. So we have a lot we are doing on that scope, because things were built, but even furnitures were not put in place. So you go to a meeting, the public asks you for two things. Choo ya watoto wa ECD wanatumia choo ya watoto wa...
So do you do the standard of ECD kits, the toilets?
Sorry?
Do you do the toilets to the same standards of ECD children?
Yes.
Okay.
Now we do.
Okay.
Now we do, and when you come, you can see some of the new...
Okay, let's come back to the numbers.
This thing we are answering, Chair, it's from 2020. So probably we need to dig more detail. That's what I'm saying.
From 2020.
From 2020.
Again, your officers failed to age.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
So we can't tell whether these were 1 year or 6 years, as you're saying, from 2020. I think the same comment we made on Note 31. Your officers failed to provide proper disclosure on Note 32. So now we are fairly blind when processing this issue.
Chair, can I also request that these documents is not illegible? I don't know whether you have seen it, number 12. The governor can strike it out and get us a better document that is more readable. Because somebody, I can see the vice chair today is carrying glasses. He is struggling, and he has a set of eyes.
So I think we have it also in the... We have it also in soft copy, so you can be able to...
No, but it's not the complete information that the Auditor General requires. Yes. Because the Auditor General requires a schedule that demonstrates the movement from 184 to 125.
We will get, Chair. I think you will indulge us that most of these things you have realized I'm answering relate to before 2022.
Unfortunately, we don't have that evidence here.
Yeah,
if you did your aging, then that would be a valid observation.
That's why I said, we will, if you see this one here, the statement is for 2020. So if you allow us to provide that one, then we can put the aging, which now they stand guided, the officers.
Chair, I thought the governor had said you had a proper handing over from the previous administration to you. I thought you are the former governor, you are in cordial relationship. What does it look like? It doesn't look like there is no seamless transition of those, maybe documentation and even works. And now you have
members, let's not go there because there's no evidence.
Chair, I'm not going
There's
anywhere.
no factual evidence that these are historical.
Chair,
if there was outstanding retentions over 3 years, then we'll reach that conclusion.
But
they have not made that disclosure.
But Chair, you have to appreciate that in almost all matters, the governor has been consistent. Either a document is lacking, we need more time, we need to provide. That has developed my intent, and that is why I'm saying, Governor, you have been in office for the last 4 years. I think if there was something missing, you should have known by now. If it was year one in office, I would be with you. But on this one, I think you are just being unfair.
No, it's not, Chair, and I have no bad blood with my predecessor. Yes. All what I'm saying is the guidance of the Chair of aging these issues is what we did not take into consideration when we came. And now we are going to put it on the aging way, and you'll be able to establish.
But your technical staff through the Chair, these are things that you agree with OAG Chair. An audit is not an offense, it is a process. We might exclude you because of other, but you are the gentleman who is in charge of finance and other technical people should have known that what we need is what already be read in management letter. It should have been easier for you, Governor.
Order, Governor. I think we are making suggestions to improve this exercise in future. So let's just take note of the comments so that it's not a back and forth. Senator Maruma?
Yeah, Chair. If there's a template of making the register, because then the auditor is saying this does not pass for a register, then it should be made possible for you to see and make that register. Number two, an amount of 99 million was borrowed from that deposit account. 89,500,000 has been refunded. We are still to refund 10 million. Where is the 10 million? And how sure are we that the contractors who are supposed to be given their money after completing the 6 months mandatory time are paid their money? Because there's 10 million still not refunded out of the 99 million borrowed.
Maybe as you answer that, what does the PFM Act and regulation require you to do when you're borrowing from deposits and retentions? There is a procedure that is prescribed. Was that procedure complied with?
Chair, one to answer on the register first. The register, maybe the AOG needs to guide us on what type of register they use, because as we have what we could provide, but if they have a specific one, the template, then they can give us, then we can adjust our register. The second one, I give it to the CC to see what procedure they use to withdraw the money.
CC?
And why is there missing 10 million? One of the officers can answer.
Let's start from what the law requires and whether you complied. CC? Governor, you came with people who I thought introduced themselves as very senior.
Yeah, next
officers.
time I think I'll leave them out the room, because I'm wondering, they keep on looking at each other like.
Okay, through the Chair, I'm sorry, because as well, I took over this department quite recently, but still all the same, since I'm in charge there, I followed up on this. Yes, we required to actually have approvals, which then when I checked through, those approvals were not there. But then at least the effort that we've made so far is that recovery, and I've also proceeded to make sure.
So you breached the law?
As a county, admittedly, yes.
But I thought the gentleman sitting behind you was then the CC, Finance.
Acting at that time, I think.
So this was a borrowing of which year?
2023.
Because looks like someone was looking for 100 million.
No.
Haraka, nitumia 100 million haraka. Then you went to the deposits account, took 99 million without any approval, without any report to the assembly. This is criminal. Which year was the borrowing done?
2023. 2024 through the chair. 23, yes. Through the chair, this was 99. Unajua ni ile wakati wa international conference.
If the procedure was followed.
Please go on record. Just make sure you're on record.
Yes, thank you, through the chair. And like I said, admittedly, yes, we confirm. When I took over, I found this had been borrowed unprocedurally, so to say. Because the procedure required that we got approvals, including from the county assembly, which was actually not done.
What instrument did you rely on to reach the conclusion that this was a borrowing from the deposits account? It was a borrowing, not settlement of retention. Was there a letter?
No, Chair.
There was no letter?
I didn't find any letter.
How was the transaction initiated? Because for 99 million to move from one account to the other, there has to be some paper trail. Someone must have signed somewhere, even if it was not taken to the assembly, etc. So what makes you report to the Senate that this was a borrowing?
And if that need was there, some meeting must have discussed that to sanction that.
I think, Chair,
and what was that money going to be used for?
I don't know, Chair, how they borrowed and whatever, but the CC who was there now is the CC Trade. So I'm sure the CC here can check with his colleague and provide all the documents which are required for what happened.
Yeah, because we want to identify the person
the officer is not
who
out
broke
of office.
the law.
It's just in another department. So I'm sure you can be able to pursue and get all the relevant documents required.
Auditor, perhaps you might need to pull up that relevant section of the law, because we dealt with this last week. I think last week we had a county. I remember the Reverend was here and was very alarmed at the practice in that county. I'm trying to remember which county it was. I don't know whether it was Mombasa or Samburu. I think it was Samburu. It was Samburu County. And you see, we said you can borrow, but there is a procedure. And that procedure includes the county assembly. You cannot move 99 million from one voted to the other without that authority. And in this case, we have no visibility on the need for that money. At least when Vihiga came, they told us the money went for a bash, for a housewarming party for the speaker. When Embu came, Embu told us the money went to a border empowerment. ENW 99 million, which was done unlawfully, what was it used for?
I think that they need to have that documentation for that showing that
They will
need,
get the tabulation,
because at times, Chair, that money could have gone to paying pending bills, and at times their pending bills are fictitious. That's why we really need to follow through.
I don't think we went to pay pending bills, Chair, but I think the CC who was there previously need to explain the transactions, how they went and they were paid what. We never borrow to pay pending bills, as far as I'm concerned.
I think, Governor, this should concern you. It should alarm you.
Yes.
I don't know how much money there is in Kilifi, but if 99 million was borrowed from an account without due process, without clarity on what it was going to be used for. And then it remains unsettled until February 2026. And even when it was refunded, it was 10 million less. This should worry you a lot.
I know, Chair, at one time they borrowed money during the investment conference from the retention account, but that's why I say I need to get a breakdown of what was borrowed for the investment conference, which we had in 2023.
Auditor, did you get the relevant section of the law?
Not yet, Chairman, but we'll...
Yeah, but I think the CEC seems to be aware that there is certain obligations, certain steps that you must go through for you to be able to move that money from one account to the other. Because in the absence of that evidence, this is one of the things we define as theft. Because what is theft? Depriving somebody of a benefit. You are depriving your contractors of something that is due to them. That is a classical definition of theft.
And Chair, for our comfort, then we need to know if the suppliers have been paid after the defect liability period is over. Are you paying them seamlessly, or there's a problem? On record, really. On record. You'd answer that on record.
The chief apparently has that information. Can you please tell the House how much was now and how much was the 22? He says this can explain 75 and 22 he inherited. So can you just answer? Yes.
By the time His Excellency the Governor was taking over office, there was already an outstanding of 22 million borrowed from the retention account. And then the 75 was borrowed during his tenure, which now 89 has been refunded, and a payment voucher is already is ready for the balance.
What is
was the 75
was it
million
borrowed for what? That's what
in
you need to
accordance
say.
with the law, and what was the purpose?
No, the 75, as the Governor says, was for investment conference.
What does the law require you to do to validate that borrowing?
It ought to have gone through the assembly, as the CC has.
Did it go through the assembly?
As the CC has said, that route was not taken.
Since you have this background, are you the offender?
No. When I took over, I joined finance. This had already been done, but I have that information after digging through.
Let's not belabor the point. Governor, you understand the law has been breached. We don't have any evidence that this money was used for the purposes that are being alluded to. And if we cannot get that visibility, we will be asking EACC. This is an open and shut matter that EACC should be able to pursue. Because as I said, you are depriving contractors of their benefits through these reallocations. And that is theft.
I think, Chair, the money which was borrowed for investment conference, I was informed, the procedures, whether they were followed, is when they did not inform me. Now that I know they had to go to assembly and whatever, they need to provide all the evidence to this committee on the transfers and how the money was spent. It's there. The money was not lost.
How much was
the
used for
22
the
we cannot
investment
account
conference?
for. Sorry?
How much was expended for the investment conference? Maybe we might need
75 million.
Or the whole amount.
But which was already pending, which we inherited. So we need to get the information of that one, the one of investment conference. The CC, as I said, who managed the invest conference, is now in trade. And actually, he borrowed when he was already in trade. So whoever worked with him from Treasury to get that money should be able to give evidence of all the money, how it was spent.
Governor, there must be checks and balances in public finance management. Yeah. You can't have a CC with unilateral powers just to move money from one account to the other without going back to the assembly, which has the responsibility of approving budgets. I think this is a very material amount. We have dealt with small amounts in other counties, but for Kilifi, it is a matter that raises serious concerns. We'll revisit this matter when we come to Kilifi, and I hope by that time we will get a better account on the procedure that was followed. Because what you're saying is, in your long register, you're saying, yes, we owe contractors 125 million, but in the bank, you only have 26 million. What if all of them were to file...
Not 26, Chair. In the bank, we have a balance of 39?
No, Governor. Note 20 to the financial statements on cash and cash equivalents reflects a balance of 26 million held in the county deposit bank account, resulting to an unexplained variance of 99 million. And that's a 99 million you're explaining. So you owe contractors 125 million, but you only have 26 million. And yet that money was deducted when making their primary payment.
The Chair, what was not put here properly is the explanation, because this was for last year and the money was returned this February. So that they should have been able to produce evidence on the balances, the account, because 89 million was deposited in February this year. So should have been able to demonstrate that. That's what they did not.
The auditor's report is correct. As at the time of audit.
Of the time of audit, yes, that was the situation.
You are 99 million short.
Yeah, but in February, the 89 million was returned. So maybe we need to allow the Auditor General to verify all the documents before your visit, and we can hand over them. Either we forward here or during the visit we deal with it.
So, yes, you see, if someone takes away my bicycle without my authority, and then they later bring it back, is there a case there? Can they say that, I'm sorry, I stole it, but I brought it back?
Yes, there's a case, Chair. You cannot say that you've brought it back. Thank you.
Well, that's where we are, Governor. I think where we have reached, unless there's a further query on this, I would have proposed an adjournment, and I would also urge the Governor that your team needs to up their game, because we have asked questions that many of which ought to have been answered. And if your team was dedicated at the time of audit, quite a number of these things would not have found their way to the Senate. And I want to believe this is a value of having these conversations. I think my colleagues felt like Kilifi has never appeared before this committee, but I do remember Kilifi has appeared before. I think when we were at KICC. But that's been quite some time back. So when we have these regular engagements, it helps to expose some things that might not be criminal, but are just administrative. And I hope that your delegation will go back knowing that there's more that is expected of them. And also, Governor, you'll also go back knowing that there's much more that is expected of you. I think the more regular we have these meetings, the better for the entity. So we will not tire, we will not be fatigued. When we come to Kilifi, we will deal with the other issues in addition to the few areas that we have left pending. That matter of systems, particularly the matter of pending bills. I hope by that time your accountants will have done a proper aging and that you'll have prepared a payment plan, because it's a constant cry we hear. When people know that we sit in this committee, sometimes we get anonymous letters, anonymous petitions that please, when the governor comes, ask this and that. But we try to restrict ourselves to the audit report, because if you have to act on every anonymous request you get from the public, you can easily mix things up. So pending bills seems to be a big problem. The amount is extremely huge. And we've not had time to go through the receipt of revenue statement. Again, you'll notice the receipt of revenue statement has got a lot of paragraphs on unexplained variances on revenue streams. which is a matter of great concern, because it means that your systems are perhaps not giving you the value. Most of those paragraphs, you find there's a discrepancy between what the systems hold and what is in the financial statement. In fact, in many cases, the financial statements are higher than what is in the system. So that tells us there's quite some problems. So when we come to Kilifi, we'll also focus a little bit on the receiver of revenue. We'll look at the projects and any other policy matter that has remained unresolved. So unless my members have any matter in closing, I would ask the governor to make his closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for having me. Chair, I must admit that the entry of auditors of 2024 and the exit, the only one I was missing, and I can see the discrepancies. So that tells me when there's entry and the exit of auditors, I need to postpone my other issues to sit there and follow up things. But nevertheless, Chair, we have learned some lessons on the issues which we need to provide. I will seek your indulgence that the clerk sends us all the issues which we have mentioned here which needs clarification, so that I can get my team to get all the paperwork there ready before you come to Kilifi. And let me take also this opportunity to welcome the Senate Mashinani to Kilifi in September. We already received your team. We have formed a committee and we are working closely with the Senate committee. And we want to make the Senate Mashinani to Kilifi a memorable one. And that we also account for whatever will be happening in Kilifi and what you have asked today, which we could not account for. Asante sana, Chair, for having me. Thank you.
I think with that, we come to the close. I just want to wish you a safe travel back home and take positively the feedback from the Senate, because if you do, then our next meeting perhaps will be faster. It will be in a much better mood, and we'll be talking about value for money rather than arguing about accounting adjustments and accounting entries. So this meeting is adjourned. We meet tomorrow at 9 a.m. to consider Homa Bay County Executive.